Yeah.
You do, now that I realize I look over there, you do kind of have a Luka. Have you ever gotten that?
Yes, lots of times.
Yeah, you got a Luka Doncic thing.
I get a "you look like Luca" thing probably once every 2 to 3 months out in public.
Huh. Well, I guess I don't notice it because you usually have a hat on. You're a hat guy.
Not normally. So this is a whole thing. And I know probably I'm talking to the wrong audience here with you two gentlemen in terms of the haircut situation. But I was going to a lady for a long time who, and if you don't know the haircut etiquette, it's hard to find a good person without going kind of high end.
Sure.
Like you don't want to spend $120 on a dude haircut. It's not that complicated.
What does it now? I have not had a haircut in 20 years.
Right.
I shaved my own head. What is the inflation rate on, because in my mind, a haircut like back in the day was like $20.
So I think there are 3 levels. There's like the great clips level, which is probably like $25.
Sure.
Then there's more of the Bishops kind of places that
Okay.
a little bit higher end than a sports clips, but still that kind of thing. And that a haircut like my haircut today was $38.
Right.
And then once you start going to people who have their own chair in an actual studio,
Yeah.
that's more 60 for men's haircut.
Yeah.
That's more 60, 80 range, I think. So and then there's way high end,
Yeah.
but I
got a buddy of mine that flies to San Francisco to get his haircut. And
Really?
Yeah. Well, he works a lot out of San Francisco.
Okay.
So when he's down there, it's a whole thing. I was with him once and he was telling me about it and I was like, dude, you won't get your haircut anyway. He's like, no, he's been going to the same lady in San Francisco and it's not $80.
And then there's 4 tiers.
Yeah,
then there's the
he
the
does
high
a
end.
whole other. It's
Right.
it's a fancy lad sort of haircut.
So I was going to this lady for a long time, and I would just get a fade, and then whatever, it didn't matter. I swooped the top, so you never had to cut it.
Yeah.
Then I started doing different stuff like this, where I would kind of style it, and I would literally bring a hat because it got so bad every time.
Yeah.
And then one time I didn't. The last time I went to her, I didn't. I went to the Clackamas Town Center to pick something up, and a guy walked up to me. Talk about humbling. And he goes, "Hey, I cut hair. I'm just going to tell you, whoever you're going to, you got to stop. Because that's insane."
It's no good.
And he was like, "Here's my card."
Yeah.
And then he was a higher end where it was, I wasn't going to go to him.
No.
But he's like, even if you don't go to me,
Branch out.
go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I went somewhere else this time, and this dude did a good job. And he just got his own chair in a nice like hair studio in Lake Oswego.
Yeah.
So I'll do that from now on.
Okay. Well, I have a lady that cuts my beard. Like, so it's like I go like every like 6 to 8 weeks when it starts looking homeless. When you go from from Viking to homeless, I'll go get it trimmed up because I can't do it myself. If you get a beard a certain length, it's like you will butcher it. Like you can't get it even. So I have the same thing. I've been going to the same lady for a long time, but like a beard trim's like $15. Tip her 5, it's 20, and out you go.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know. The last haircut I had was probably 20 years ago, and I asked the lady because I was like, dude, how bad is it up there? And she like shot me straight. She's like, eh. I caught a glimpse of it. I don't know when Steven, like when you went bald, but like I caught a glimpse of it in like the rear view mirror. And I was like, oh God. I was like, yikes. And your wife won't shoot you straight. She'll lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always like, oh, it's not that bad. And like I caught a glimpse of it in the sun and it was rough. I was like, geez. And so like a week later, I went in to the lady and I was like, just how bad is this? And she kind of was like, well, I went home, I shaved it off, and I haven't had hair since. Yeah, it's been like 20 years.
It was when like my first child I had, you're taking a lot of pictures with them. And so like I started looking at the pictures and I'm like, my hair looks really bad. Like I didn't realize how bad it was until I started seeing all these pictures of my kid. And I'm like, I can't have this. And so I was like, I got to shave it.
Yeah.
And then I'm with you. It's just once you go, you embrace it.
Yeah. Because I have talked to friends that are like trying to hold on to some scraps and you're like, man, like it's over.
But nobody tells you.
No. Well, and that's why I try to be honest with friends. Like, and I don't do it in a mean way. Like I had a buddy of mine that got divorced and we needed to have some rough conversations. Yeah. It had been a while.
Like when I first shaved my head, my buddy came up to me and was like, why'd you shave your head? He's like, you could have done something with it. I'm like, no, I couldn't have. No. Like it's not there.
Yeah, we had to have a talk. We're like, dude, we got to get rid of some cargo shorts and we got to stop the comb over, man. Like it's a new world out there. We got to make some changes here. And the first change is we got to get rid of that thing. We got to shave that down and we got to start new. Just it's not working anymore. So yeah, if you're out there and you're struggling and you're holding on, just
Time to let it go.
Time to let it go, man.
Yep.
It's,
And bald is more acceptable
Yeah.
for white men than it's ever been.
or if it's
cool
not,
to
or
just
if it's
go-
not too bad, dude. There's real procedures. You can go out now. You know, you can
that's
go
true.
find the hair restoration bros out there. Trust me. Listen to the ads. You know, they'll take care of you. If not, if you're not willing to go that route and actually do something about it, just shave it.
Yep.
Because the comb over and the slit, it's not good.
And-
It's not fooling anyone, and it's just a bad look.
And the layer that the level that I'm at is I have a full head of hair still. It's finding the right person to cut your hair. And it can be a challenge because they'll move and you have to reset all over again and try to find somebody, and you'll end up with some wonky cuts along the way.
Well, that's a sassy cut. That's all I can say. It's like you've got I call that the fun to be a boy haircut.
Yeah.
You've sprinkled some pizzazz on top of your head. You're like, ooh, look at me.
I felt very boy band
Yeah.
coming in today.
It definitely it has that
And
that feel about it.
I'm okay with
I'm
it.
a little jealous. Like I said, what am I gonna say? Like, oh, nice boy band hair. I wish I had boy band hair. I wish I had any hair.
I turned 40 in a couple months.
Yeah.
And to still be able to do boy band hair, I'm kind of good with it. Like there's a lot going wrong right now. Gained some weight, having issues with the old colon. There's some things that aren't going exactly the way I want them to right now. But you know what? Full head of hair.
Well, and you pull it off too. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't look bad on you.
No,
That's
you got
the
a
thing.
good. You got a good it.
I've gotten some compliments I got it cut like 3 hours ago, and
That
I've
looks
already gotten
good.
a few compliments.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's
like,
first-
okay, it
it's
must
the
be.
first thing
must
I
be all right.
noticed when you came in. I asked a good looking. It's some Luca hair.
Do you remember when I had long hair and you
Yeah.
used to think like, oh, who's that? Who's that new broad? And then you'd be like, oh, wait,
Yeah, if,
no.
if you saw Nimick from behind, he was putting off real soccer coach vibes.
And I'd wear tight pants sometimes, so it'd be like, hey, that
Nemec-
girl's got some nice legs. And then it
Nimick
was
does wear a
me.
lot of skinny jeans. He's a skinny jeans.
I am
long,
a skinny jeans
yeah,
guy.
skinny jeans sort of guy.
Who's that, babe?
Yeah,
Oh, hey, Andrew.
It does bother me though
Yeah.
when I have like older friends.
Got him
with,
a couple times.
with great heads of hair. It kind of pisses me off. Like I said, my buddy that goes to San Francisco, my doctor has a great head of hair, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Like how are you this old and still have great hair? Like every time I see Jeff Bridges, I'm like, really? You got sweet Sam Elliott. You got sweet silver hair. We had an old boss, Tim McNamara. Great silver fox. Great head of silver hair. And I'm like, yeah, I've had this since I was like 28.
It's annoying because like my son, he has the same hair that I had when I was younger, and my sister-in-law said something like, oh, wasn't that like Steven's type of hair? And then my little niece chimes in and is like, yeah, it was his hair.
Yeah.
Like everyone just makes fun of you about it. Even your family. They don't care.
I think that's ultimately what led me to lose my faith in God is just that. Like, really? You just scorned me at the age of like 25?
It's like I wasn't even there at the conversation and she's making fun of my hair.
That's tough. It's tough, man. Getting a lot of that. We're getting a lot of that $30 to $40 range coming in on the text program.
That's most
it seems like that's kind of
go-to.
the sweet spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I said $38 is
Yeah.
what I got. I think that's the tier that most people sit in. And I will say, if you're doing something very, very simple, there's no reason not to go to like a Great Clips thing. I have no issue with that.
Getting a
But
lot
if you want something semi-styled,
Yeah.
you need to at least hit that 30, 40.
Yeah, we're getting that. We're a lot of people, $40, $10 tip, $41 at the barber's, beard trim and a haircut. Yeah, getting a lot of that. Some 25s still in there that are going down the little kid road, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're getting to that. Also, Jerry Harrington also pisses me off. Great head of hair. Oh, and he flaunts it too. Every time he's always just in. It's perfectly coiffed. He's always sending me photos. He's out on the golf course. He's not wearing a hat. His hair is perfect. He knows it pisses me off.
He was at the state title game that Swag and I called.
Probably looking good, huh?
And you could see him. One, he's 6'3" or whatever, and then he swooped it and gave himself maybe 3 more inches. Honestly, it was a really good fade, tight fade on the top with a swoop that gave him. I mean, he looked 6'6" because of the swoop. And Swag was like, "Look at that hair." First thing he said, and it was Joey Harrington.
Yeah, it's a power play.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine very nicely brought over this really, really nice gift for me. We just got back from Portugal, and he had this beautiful photo of this place that we stayed in Portugal, and he put it in a frame, and it was gorgeous. And shout out Dr. Greg, beautiful dentist expert, known him my whole life. This beautiful thing was this great gift, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you went to Portugal, and I want to bring this to you." And so he brings it over, and I was like, man, that's just so thoughtful. I'm like, this is always going to hang in my house. I love these kind of one-off pieces. I love photography, but I don't want to go get something from Pier 1.
Right.
Everything hanging in my house, I try to make it unique. And so I have a lot of photos that my friends take. And he's a really good photographer. And it was the most thoughtful thing. And at the same time, while I was thinking how thoughtful it was, it pissed me off because he came in. He's got same age as me, and he has amazing hair, and it was perfect that day. And I think he put it up extra high. I think he did the extra 3-inch high just to shove it in my face.
Yeah.
He showed up. I'm like, you can't wear a baseball cap? It's like 10:30 in the morning. You came from working out, and he came with this perfect hair coif. And I was like, it's power play. See what you're doing?
Yeah.
You're doing something nice, but at the same time, you're like, hey, check out this flow. It was a little insulting.
It is humbling you a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
Not only does he show up, but he was in Portugal. So he's fresh off vacation, hair perfect. I got you something.
Yeah.
It just bring you down a peg, maybe.
Yeah, so I can't throw a stocking cap on. So we got a good show for you today. And actually we have the announcement's already been made, but we'll talk about it coming up next. And then we actually have a special guest at 3:30. We don't do a lot of guests on this program. But I am wearing this is my 2001, I can't say it's a championship scarf. They made it to the MLS final, but they lost in that final. But to this day, one of the coolest games that I've ever been to because they sent it into overtime.
Yes.
On this miraculous goal with no time left. One of the coolest moments I've ever had. So I am officially Timber Sook. I mean, if you want the preeminent Timbers fan on this station, it is I. I have been to 80% of the games probably over the last 3 or 4 years. Now, some may say that I go simply to drink and have a good time, which, that's a fair statement. But it doesn't change the fact that I am there. I am. And so this is the Timbers came today and they brought us lots of gifts and accoutrements, which, by the way, all the previous shows took all the good stuff. They brought in a bunch of
scarf.
stuff. You got a scarf?
I got a scarf. Yeah, it's cool.
And so I say to everyone, I didn't need a new scarf. I have my own.
It's true.
I brought my own. But we officially have an announcement here on this program, even though if you've been listening to the station all day, you've heard about it if you listen to a press release. But we have something very cool that we'll talk about coming up next, and then a special Timbers-themed guest at 3:30. That today when we come back on a West Coast biased edition of Primetime here on 105.1 The Fan.
1080 AM.
Welcome in. Now, we broke the news this morning on Dirt and Sprague, but if you haven't been listening to the station all day, first off, shame on you. So if this is where you get your local news you can use, this will be news to you. We here at 105.1 The Fan and 1080 The Fan, the global fan sports network, as Joey Harrington likes to call it, this was actually really cool. We have officially become the radio partner of your and my Portland Timbers.
True story.
Starting with this upcoming season here, which, by the way, they're down in training camp right now down in Palm Springs. Phil, the boss, and all the boys, we will be your exclusive home. So every game for the Timbers will be on either 105.1 or 1080. There might be some games over on 94.7 if need be. Now, to those that aren't into soccer, don't worry. It will not interrupt this show. To the chagrin of one Isaac Robb, we will not be preempted. So every game will be on 1080, and select games, when time allows with scheduling, they will be here on 105.1 The Fan. But between the two, we will have every Timbers game. And on the old Hot Corner slot, I believe on Tuesdays after Primetime, Patrick Harris will host a Timber show once a week. To kind of give you all the little comings and goings of the Portland Timbers. So this is really cool because we're already home with the Oregon Ducks. We're home with the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't know if you've realized this, but the Seattle Seahawks are in this thing called the Super Bowl. And now we get the Portland Timbers, which I'm kind of fired up about. To be honest with you, I'm actually a pretty big soccer fan. I never grew up being a soccer fan. It just wasn't my thing as a fat lineman. Like, soccer wasn't really my jam. I don't think I played soccer beyond the age of like 7 or 8. And I used to have that kind of the opinion of low scoring, low action, ties. It's just kind of that American view of soccer. It just didn't do anything for me. I grew up watching football, baseball, hockey, and a little bit of the NBA. That was my thing. And then I went over to Europe when I was in NFL Europe, and that was my first real introduction to soccer, and it really did change my perception of what soccer was. The first soccer game that I ever went to was Celtic Rangers, which is one of the biggest rivalries in the world. It's the two club teams from Scotland, and they have to have armed guards that split the stadium. It's insane. Like, you can't walk into a bar in Glasgow or Edinburgh when they're going to play wearing those team colors. There's a big sign that says no colors. There will be riots. It's Catholics versus Protestants.
Yeah.
And then I saw a World Cup qualifier between Scotland and Germany, and that was where all the English hooligans came in, and then we got into a soccer riot afterwards, and we all fought the Germans. So that was my first soccer riot. And to this day, I still have a Scotland flag hanging in my garage that has a bunch of blood on it. That is not UK blood. That would be German blood that is on that. So so since then, I've just kind of slowly grown into a soccer fan. Now, I will say that I'm not the most knowledgeable soccer fan, but anywhere I go, this year when I was in Italy, I went and saw a game in Florence. When I was in Portugal, I actually got to see Ronaldo play. I got to see a World Cup qualifier with Team Portugal, which was amazing. Anywhere I go, I try to find a soccer game. And then I've been very fortunate. One of my dear friends has field suites at the Timbers for the last 4 or 5 years. And so I've been to probably 80% of the Timbers games. Now, do I go and I like to have a good time? Yeah. Is there some libations down there on the field? Absolutely. I couldn't tell you all the strategy, but I'm telling you, that is, during the summer, you won't find a better bang for your buck than going to those Timbers games.
I think that there's a hierarchy to popularity of sport versus kind of the in-person experience.
Yes.
And the two sports that I think, in general, Americans dismiss instead of going to see it when they're actually the best in person are hockey and soccer.
Yes.
Hockey and soccer in person are really, really fun, whereas I've been to NFL games. It is so boring.
Yeah.
The commercial breaks are bad. And everybody knows, I love the NFL.
Me too.
I am an all-in NFL guy. For in-person experience, for just the fun of it, give me always soccer and hockey over NFL. And it's not close.
They are my two favorite sports. I go to about 1 or 2 football games a year, and I go to a lot of hockey games, and I go to a lot of soccer games. So I'm excited about this. And I will say that me and my buddy, the Red Panda, we are directly responsible for a change made at Providence Park. If you're ever down at the suite level.
Is that a liquor limit?
No, it is not. This is a positive one.
Okay.
If you've ever been down there, right? If you've been down to like the Field Suites, you go down there and it's really cool because it is an open bar. Again, helps.
Like you do.
Like an open bar, and they give you a lovely little buffet down there. There's some food, and you got the hot dogs and all that. But we noticed a couple years ago that there was no popcorn. What are we doing? Why is there no? You've come to a sporting event. There's popcorn in the stadium.
Yes.
Why isn't there popcorn down there? And this was always a giant rub that me and my buddy had. And one night, it was at a St. Patrick's Day event. It was that Kells puts on a big smoker with Tullamore Dew. They do a boxing match every St. Patty's Day. And so we were down there, and I looked behind me, and the table sitting behind me was all Portland Timbers people.
Okay.
I may have had
a few.
I was sitting with the Tullamore Dew guys. I had a lot. It's possible that I had been overserved. So I start communicating with the Portland Timbers people, letting them know my displeasure about the lack of popcorn. I might have been very boisterous about this. I was not being subtle at this egregious nature of a lack of popcorn. What are we doing?
Yeah, let them eat popcorn.
It's supposed to be the luxury area down there, and I have to walk up the stairs and buy popcorn and bring it down. What are we doing?
Like a peasant.
What are we even doing?
Again, let them eat popcorn.
Hand to God. Todd Spear, the great Todd Spear, was sitting behind me, who I actually knew from years ago. And I was like, oh, I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I was fearful that he was going to be like, this jackass.
Which he was. He just didn't say out loud.
Later on in that evening, he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, hey, check this out. Shows me his phone. He's written an email about the popcorn. Like 2 weeks later, we go to a game, and he sends me a text message as we're getting ready to go down. He's like, hey, did you happen to see what was going down? And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, you'll see. I walk down. Guess what's at the club level? Popcorn.
Boom.
Little bags of popcorn. So I just want you Timber fans to know that if you're ever down in that area, if you're ever down in those club seats, and you're like, oh, you know what? I would like a delicious bag of popcorn. You know who to thank. Right here. Soccer Souk has instituted changes.
Some are saying you're a hero.
I mean,
what percentage of listeners right now are like, yes, this change impacts me? It's the Richie Riches of the Portland Timbers fans are the only people you're talking to.
Hey.
And then people who don't eat popcorn, also not interested in it.
shame on them.
There's a YouTube comment that says this is the conversation national shows are afraid to have.
Right,
now.
no, it's
Exactly.
true. There is like
They're afraid.
There
You
are
know
like
what?
2 listeners right now that are like, this is awesome, and everyone else is like, okay, they have the Timbers, that's great. I'm never gonna have club seats, let alone have to worry about the popcorn in the club.
Bottom line is, when I am wildly drunk at a St. Patrick's Day event, I'm still thinking of you, the people, and your need and right to have popcorn. And I do want to give a shout out to Todd and the people over there at Game Day Operations with the Timbers. Look, I'm not going to say this is the sole reason we have the Timbers here now on the Fan, but I got to believe that this is what laid the groundwork.
Yeah.
They're like, look, if Souk is instituting this kind of change,
If he's this passionate.
if he's this passionate about it, if Soccer Souk can make this happen, there's only one radio partner we need.
We do need a sports radio czar liaison to connect with these teams about things that need to get done to
That's
improve
right.
the experience.
I'm there.
The Fire needs some input. They're going into their first season. Lord knows the Blazers could use some help in terms of fan interest. It sounds like you are the voice of the people
Yes.
when it comes to the experience, particularly at the club level. And hopefully these other teams take note, invite you, and you can tell them how it should really be done.
I'll tell you right now, boys, I got a hard hat. They have delivered me my own hard hat. So at this point, basically, I'm a member of the team.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, I would also like to point out, at that evening where I got popcorn at the smoker, I may have also contributed to the collapsing of the boxing ring. And that was also a mild incident.
The boxing ring fell apart?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said to stay out of the ring, and we didn't stay out of the ring. And
Old linemen see ring, want attention.
The ring
and you
may
just
have
climbed in.
The ring may have buckled at one point.
No.
So it was a productive evening on one side, not so much the other. And here's the ultimate tie-in, because you know who was the MC of that event? when I got the popcorn instituted and broke the boxing ring. One Timber Joey. He's the MC of that smoker.
Full circle.
Full circle, because who joins us next? The one and the only Timber Joey. Next on 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, the Philadelphia Eagles. They have hired a new offensive coordinator and somebody that we know, former Packers QB coach and former Oregon State Beavers, Sean Mannion, is going to be the Eagles' new offensive coordinator. Mannion, just 33 years old. He was an active player in the NFL as recently as 2023 with the Vikings and with the Seattle Seahawks. Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Bills, had surgery and it was done on his broken foot a broken bone in his foot. And Allen said the injury stemmed from an incident. He aggravated it in Week 16 against the Browns. But Allen did say he'll be ready for OTAs this offseason. Some bad injury news for the Trailblazers. Center Dwap Reith will have surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. He'll be out for the season. But some good Blazer news is that Scoot Henderson has been cleared for contact drills and is nearing the end of his recovery from the hamstring tear that sidelined him since training camp. Denver Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon, he'll be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks with a right hamstring strain. Couple entrants into the slam dunk contest. Lakers center Jackson Hayes, San Antonio Spurs rookie Carter Bryant have accepted invitations for the slam dunk contest. Mac McClung, the three-time champ, will not participate. Kansas expects to have star freshman Darren Peterson available on Saturday when the Jayhawks host A.J. DeBonsta and BYU. Peterson and DeBonsta, they're projected to be 2 of the top 3 picks in the upcoming NBA draft. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Stephen Vaughn from the Georgia Coy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call Georgia Coy at WarrenAllen.com.
The Fan is
Owner. If a sudden need or opportunity comes up, are you ready to act fast with the capital you need? With LendSeek, you will be. With up to $5 million in as little as 24 hours. Whether it's a credit line, term loan, or revenue-based financing, LendSeek's AI-enabled marketplace can match you with the right funders. More than 1,000 business owners have used LendSeek to access over $300 million in funding. Start ready and stay ready with LendSeek. Apply at lendseek.com.
officially become the home of 105.1 The Fan and the Portland Timbers. We make the move to the FM. We get the Timbers. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, soccer souk. And I will only be supplanted by one man at this station. I am officially soccer souk, but I will take a back seat to one man and one man only, and that is this man here. The greatness that is, and what I'm hearing, legally binding, Timber Joey.
That's it.
So you are like the ultimate warrior now. If you show me your driver's license, it actually says Timber Joey?
Yeah. Driver's license, passport, every credit card except for one because they won't change it without all the paperwork. So I'm just leaving it alone. But yeah, it's Timber Joey. It's been that way for some time, since before I got married. So over 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So does the wife call you Timber Joey? Is she Mrs. Timber Joey?
No, she does her own thing. I'm still surprised she changed her last name, actually. But yeah, it's Timber Joey. I go by anything you want to call me. And glad to be here.
All right, let's talk about, so Timber Jim is the OG, the original.
Yes.
When did Timber Jim step down and when did Timber Joey become? I want to hear about this process.
Yeah, so if you ever watch the show Lost,
Yeah.
I was watching it one night, and right before the last segment, they said, coming up at 11, Timber Jim is stepping down, and the Timbers are looking for a new idea for a mascot. And I'm a former rugby player. I'd only gone to soccer games to see Timber Jim. He was what really got me into loving the sport of soccer, and so I jumped in.
Lean into the mic for us.
Oh, sorry.
There
Yep.
you go.
So I jumped in. They were looking for a new idea, and I said, I want to keep the tradition the same. You know, maybe I'll bring out a hard hat and some of my logging gear, and we'll keep it traditional. And it stuck. It worked out really well.
Was there like a tryout process?
Yeah, I think what I was told was 100 applicants, 30 interviews. I got 3 games. The next guy was from my hometown. He got 3 games, but he broke his leg the day of. And for the final guy that got 3 games, he didn't show up. And I was in the stands, and they said, can you grab your gear?
So are you born and bred in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah. Born in Corvallis, grew up outside of Philomath in a little town called Wren, big logging town. Went to Philomath High School, School of Forestry with Terry Selby. So yeah, grew up around chainsaws and sports.
So you were in the logging industry before this.
Yeah.
So when they said that like you had a tryout for the mascots, were there people that weren't doing this, or was it like you had Timber Dave, Timber Joey, Timber Steve?
Yeah, the other person that sadly broke his leg, I think he had a little bit of experience, but not quite as much. And then the third guy was a guy from the Axemen, the TV show, and he just didn't show up, didn't work out.
And did you have any idea that this would become? Because how long ago was this? How many years?
This is 2008.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And this has become, now you said you kind of dabble in some other stuff, but this is you changed your name for God's sakes.
Yeah,
This is your gig.
I'm on call. Yeah, give me a shout and let me know where to be.
Did you have any idea when this started that it would turn into this?
No. I mean, I was a weekend warrior. I rodeoed, which was mostly for the weekends. I then played rugby, which you might train all the time. But
I love that you've dabbled in some forestry, rugby, rodeo.
Yeah.
So basically, you're the manliest human being. You're Ron Swanson come to life.
I just like being entertained and entertaining myself and being the person out there in the middle of the stage.
When did it become a thing? When did you realize, like, oh, this is something that the fans are really embracing, and I'm a huge part of it?
I mean, in my first game, when I walked out on that field, you could see the energy and feel the energy coming from the Timbers Army of about 5,000 people in the stands, and it just locked you in. And then it turned into Chris Brown scoring a goal in that first game towards the end, and you just got to feed the energy back. I watched it grow from 5,000 people in a game to, what is it now, 25,000 almost every game, sold out for a number of years. So, yeah, it's been very special.
Cool it, or go for it.
At what point did you become officially Timber? Like, how far in did you go? Okay, I'm gonna embrace this, and this is gonna be legally my name. We're changing documents because this is who I am, and I know I'm here. This is what I want to be for good.
I think it was somebody said that I couldn't post something on Twitter, and I said, "Well, it's my Twitter," and they said, "No, you're Timber Joey here, not Timber Joey there." And I'm Timber Joey everywhere. It's I go to the grocery store, it's taking a picture. You go out to a restaurant, it's taking a picture, saying hi to a kid. It's a full-time job outside of what they understand that a full-time job is. You always have to be on. You always have to make sure that you're representing your club, your state, your region, and it's something that I've embraced and I love.
So, coolest thing you've gotten to do as Timber Joey?
Oh my gosh.
Like, give me a pinch yourself moment. What the hell am I doing here?
Well, in 2015 at 5 o'clock in the morning, the game that we won the MLS Cup, I had to be at the stadium. They wouldn't let me in the stadium. It was 22 degrees, the wind was blowing, and there was nowhere for me to be but to shoot 2 segments between 5 and 8 o'clock in the morning. That was a what am I doing here moment. But we ended up winning that championship. I did it in a daze, and there's a billion things I've done since then that have been pretty awesome. What we get to do with kids and helping to inspire people in the Portland area to become better people, good citizens, and educate themselves is pretty special.
Yeah, chainsaw safety, because you can't have those sorts of accidents. Someone here may have chainsawed their own knee and had to take 17 stitches. So it's proper. Where were you 20 years ago with proper chainsaw safety when I was living up on a mountain in the center, for God's sakes?
That's a Timber Jim thing. Timber Jim's all about safety. I'm all about spreading love, through education. But yeah, it's we compare scars. It happens. These are power machines, and you're gonna have little accidents here and there. Thankfully, we're very, very safe around the stadium. My equipment's good.
Never had anything go wrong. We never had
Not at the stadium, no. Thankfully,
we haven't had like a sawdust chunk go flying off at someone.
We've had a few close moments. There was a MLS photographer that ran under me while I was holding the chainsaw over my head at one point. That didn't make me very happy. And then I also hit a nail cutting Darlington Nagby's log, and it turned out to be about a 90-pound log because of the way the chainsaw cut.
Oh gosh!
And he could barely lift it over his head, but he got the goal and got it over his head. So we're all good.
How embarrassing would that have been if he couldn't get it up over the
Not as embarrassing as me almost passing out when I was trying to lift it going around the stadium. that would have been worse probably.
It's a little bit of an oopsie sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, so when does your it never ends for you? I say, because season's coming up, they're down in Palm Springs, but you're doing all the different stuff right now. You're coming in here to kind of make this announcement with us. I'm sure you're doing a bunch of charity stuff. Do you have an off season where you just get to be Joey?
No. There's no off season. In fact, I think the first thing that happened when I got off the plane on vacation was somebody said, "Hey, are you Timber Joey?" And I'm in Hawaii, so it's all the time, everywhere I go. Like I said, you're representing a very special thing, this club, the Portland Timbers, and now we get to do it on FM. I'm stoked.
Well, we're stoked to have you. Like I said, I'm kind of like you in a sense that I was not the world's biggest soccer fan.
Sure.
I just was a casual guy. I like to have a good time.
Yeah.
And soccer, every time I went to a soccer game, I just had a good time. And so I started kind of going when I would travel, and then I started going to Timbers games. And again, for my buck, there's not a better thing to do in the summertime when the weather's nice than go out to that, hoist a few pops, and kind of revel in the Timbers Army. It really is. I mean, it's one of the best home field advantages. It's one of the best environments in North American sports.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of American football. I'm a big fan of other sports too, and I'm from a very small town where soccer wasn't really represented when I was younger. And for me to tell people about this sport, I'm like, just go. There's something for everybody, even if you're just experiencing the atmosphere of the fans, the history of our beautiful stadium. Everything is special there, and it just takes one little click, like it was for me and Timber Jim and a chainsaw, to really get into it.
Okay, now what do I have to do to get my hands on the saw? If you ever had a guest, now I'm down there and I am drinking, but if I go sober, can I get a log? Can I get a piece of a log?
You'll have to check with our game ops guys. I think there's tryouts. You can try out for T2, and once you make it to the first team, you score that goal at home, I'll get you a log slice.
Yeah. Maybe I just light the fire. I've always thought that's kind of cool too. I've always wanted to light the green fires in the end when they score in the Timbers Army.
Yeah.
Maybe that's maybe a little simpler.
And not up to me. That's up to the Timbers Army. So you can join them at 107th, work your way through the board, and maybe get a capo spot.
All right. Well, Timber Joey, we love having you in, and we're way excited here. This is really cool. I've always said the city of Portland needs wins.
Yeah.
Right now. I hate when people bag on this city. It's a city that I loved. I spent most of my adult life here, spent most of my childhood here, and I've raised my kids here, and it pisses me off when people are constantly taking a piss on this city. And it's a great city. Has it seen better days? Absolutely. Are there better days ahead? Absolutely. And I believe in it. And I said this city needs wins. And I think what we've done here in the community with the Thorns, with the Timbers, I think this is two of the biggest wins that we've had. And I just would encourage everyone to come out and support. I think you guys do a great job, and you're part of it, man. So I appreciate it, and we're going to see you down on the field. And I'm going to see you at the Kel Smoker. I am jealous that you get to host the Kel Smoker.
Yeah, but if you can sing the national anthem, maybe we can get you in there.
Well,
I don't know.
again, much like the log thing, I've got a bad history. I may have charged the ring one. You were there when the ring collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, it was not our, it was not our finest moment. But it wasn't just me. You got to admit, that night, like 50 people charged the ring.
But you did have a good time.
I had a great time.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
see?
we had a great time.
And now we have a story to tell years later.
Exactly.
I love it.
So we look forward to it. We look forward to partnering with you, and we're so excited to have you guys part of the fan family. And we'll see you down at Providence Park.
Thanks so much, and congratulations to get into that FM. Love it.
Timber Joey, everybody. When we come back, 105.1 The Fan.
a.m.
Oh, it's been a busy hour there. A lot of soccer, believe it or not. Who had that on their bingo card? A lot of soccer and mainly just drinking and telling stories with Timber Joey, who, by the way, that really is from someone said on the text message here, I used to work at a club next door to Kells when Timber Joey worked there. Damn good human being.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that know that guy and will tell you that is genuinely one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet.
I've heard the same
out there.
thing. Yep.
And I meant that. I mean, we'll get into some more traditional sports stuff here, and when we'll talk some NFL, we'll talk some NBA. But I will say to those people that aren't huge soccer folks, I get it. And you're not going to get 9 hours of X's and O's soccer talk. I couldn't do it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? I told you, I am the definition of a casual soccer fan. I love the lifestyle of it, though. I truly mean that. In the summer, I don't think there's many better things to go do than go catch a Timbers or a Thorns game. You're sitting outside, it's the sun, it's a great environment, and I truly mean that. I just believe in this city, and I want this city to have wins. And despite some of the problems that have happened over the years there, I think both of those have big wins for it. I want the WNBA to work here.
Yeah.
Stuff that comes here that doesn't succeed, that doesn't do anyone any good. And I'm also not going to sit there and crap on stuff. If soccer isn't your thing, don't worry about it. You don't have to go. But the amount of times that I hear people that love to take a crap on whether it's the WNBA or the Thorns or the Timbers or whatever because it's not your thing, I will never understand that. If you love this city, you should be rooting for things in this city. And I really am excited to have them on board. I love the sport. I say great for the community. And you're not, trust me, you are not going to get me and Rob breaking down, X's and O's, Ted Lasso style with the Timbers versus the Earthquake. So everyone just, for those people that are like, oh, great, I'll never listen again. First off, cool, great. Be my guest. But trust me, we're not going to be forced to talk about something that we don't want to talk about. This show will not change.
Right. It's not going to be a thing where suddenly 105.1 is mostly a soccer radio station. That's not really how it works.
No.
The other thing I would say is I do think the experience is really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's been to a Timbers game who goes, I will never go again.
Yeah.
Every single person who I've ever talked to who went to a Timbers game was like, if you ever get tickets for anything, I will go with you.
Yeah.
People like it. And you have talked extensively about how much you like soccer or going to the Timbers, not necessarily soccer. You've talked to me a lot about how much you like going to the Timbers games when we're prepping for West Coast Bias. Yeah. This is completely genuine. It is not a situation where, they're the new home, so we got to protect. No, you legitimately brought your own scarf in today. You legitimately were like, hey, now I might have some influence in there, where I can have some fun in those games. It's a good thing.
It hooked me when I travel. I don't know if you do this. When I go anywhere, one of the first things I do is I go like on StubHub and I look at what events are happening locally.
Yeah.
Because I think it's cool to see concerts in a different area or sporting events. And the cool part about traveling internationally is the one thing you can always count on is there is a soccer game. And so I think that's honestly, like I said, what kind of hooked me was seeing different international soccer teams.
Yeah.
And some of the cool, the little smaller clubs that are in these cities around Europe. What's cool about him is and that's like what's the Welcome to Wrexham, that show.
Yeah.
Wrexham, that team is that city. So these cities become just the team is an extension of the city.
It's a culture.
It's a culture.
It becomes a culture.
And it really is cool. And European soccer has a real special feel about it. And I do enjoy that in Portland we have a little bit of that. In that, Timber fan isn't necessarily sports fan. I've always said those are kind of two different archetypes. And believe me, we hear it whenever I bring up Timbers. You always get the football fan that gets all pissy. It's like, ugh. But it's weird in that baseball fan, football fan, hockey fan, they're kind of in the same archetype. Mm-hmm. But soccer fan, I think, is slightly different. I think soccer fan, you can get diehard soccer fan that doesn't really watch any other sport. And I'm not sure you can get that. If you get a diehard football fan, he will be a fan of other sports. But soccer fan, I don't think that that's necessarily the case.
Agreed.
Soccer is its own kind of little unique. It's a unique thing.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing.
No,
it's just a different. It's different. Trust me. If you go to some soccer games, the crowd is different than if you go to a Oregon Duck or a Seattle Seahawks.
So that's what I was going to say. Is the soccer experience to that point of culture? There is a almost like an etiquette to being a part of it.
Yeah.
And once you're part of it, you feel like you're, again, immersed in a different culture that is soccer culture, or particularly Timbers Army culture or Timbers culture. And I don't know that other sports have that. Like, Blazer fan doesn't go to a game and there's an etiquette to the way that you go. Like, you can go as a little kid and be whatever, or you can go as a business person and sit there. There's no culture to learning the chants, to learning, to engaging in the whole thing. Soccer is different.
I wonder what that would look like. Steve, you're a big Blazer guy. Like, would a Blazer army work? I know, like at the Inuit Dome in LA, they're trying to do that. What are they? They're calling it like
They
the
call it
wall.
the wall, yeah.
The wall, like a student section in an NBA game.
I think the Blazers actually could pull it off.
Right?
I think there are some crazy Blazer fans, and then maybe they may be Timber fans that are watching the Blazers. Like, I think that does. The Blazers have more of a college atmosphere than a lot of teams in the NBA. Like, I think they could actually pull it off.
If the NBA were to somehow get that, like, let's inject that kind of thing into NBA games, it would make going to an NBA game a lot more fun. Because their issue right now, and I know we're now transitioning a little to basketball, their issue, because I've wanted to go see Wemby. And Sprague and I have talked about in the past going to a game to see Wemby in Portland and spending the money to sit close so we can see him and really be close and get a feel for what he's really like on the court. And he's then been out.
Yeah.
So then there's no draw to the Spurs because the Blazer game is just a Blazer game.
Sure.
But if you had that culture to it where there's like a fan, fun, engaged section,
Right.
whether or not the stars were out,
It might be.
it would still be an experience. And that's where the NBA, to me, is really reliant on its stars to provide the experience, whereas soccer has its stars, don't get me wrong. In fact, some of the biggest stars in the world.
Sure, but
the culture of soccer sells itself whether you know the names or not, whereas in the NBA, they're very reliant on star power.
It's interesting. I just wondered if that would work on a bigger scale if you did that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll kick this around a little bit. We'll move into some stuff. We have some press conference news from the Denver Broncos. It was really interesting. We've got some coaching hire stuff that I know we want to get into. So we'll just probably shift gears here a little bit and talk and some NBA. I want to talk about LeBron. I saw something last night with him that I thought was kind of interesting. So we'll get back into maybe more some traditional sports when we come back. Hour 2 coming up here on 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Eagles, they're hiring former Packers QB coach and former Oregon State Beaver quarterback Sean Mannion as their offensive coordinator. Mannion, he is just 33 years old. He was actually an active player as recently as 2023 with the Vikings and Seahawks, but now he'll be in charge of the Eagles offense. Josh Allen and the Bills, he had surgery on a broken bone in his foot. He said the injury stemmed from an older incident that he aggravated in Week 16 against the Browns, but he said he'll be ready for OTAs and it should not be a factor moving forward. Trailblazers center Tawap Reed, he's going to have season-ending surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. Point guard Scoot Henderson, he's been cleared for contact drills and is nearing the end of his recovery from the hamstring tear that has sidelined him all season long. Denver Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon, he's going to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks with the right hamstring strain. Lakers center Jackson Hayes and Spurs rookie Carter Bryant have accepted invitations to the Slam Dunk Contest this year. Mac McClung, the three-time champion, will not be a participant. And the University of Kansas expects to have Darren Peterson available on Saturday when Kansas hosts BYU and A.J. DeBonsta. Peterson and DeBonsta are projected to be 2 of the top 3 picks in the upcoming NBA draft. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Stephen Vaughn from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Welcome in. Hour number 2. A lot of soccer as we had the news that 105.1 and 1080 The Fan, now home of your Portland Timbers. We had Timber Joey, who I do love that he's officially changed his legal name to Timber Joey. That's like WWE stuff. Like the Ultimate Warrior, like Hulk Hogan, were literally the Ultimate Warrior before he died on his driver license said the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a commitment to the bit. Like I can't change my name to Sook. Couldn't bring myself to do it.
It's like McLovin.
It is. He's Timber Joey.
It is like
McLovin. Because I'll meet people out on the street or like in the office or whatever, and I introduce myself as Jason. And then like 10 minutes later, they'll be like, what? Why did you say your name was Jason? Because it is. But no one calls me that. It just calls me Sook.
It really did throw me, though, when I was told the first hour would be heavy on football with Joey.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, okay, Harrington's in studio and we're chopping it up about the Ducks. No. Football and Timber Joey.
But you mentioned like the kind of the atmosphere around the Timbers. And I was thinking like, so the Raiders had the black hole. Cleveland has like the dog pound. So you do see like kind of glimpses of that around other sports. But when you go over into Asia, like my gal's Japanese, and so when we go over there, my daughter lives in Korea. If you go watch Asian baseball, it's the soccer environment at a baseball game.
Yeah,
it's nothing but songs and chants, and it's lively like that. And I wonder why that never took off in American sports. Because you may have glimpses of that in Cleveland or in I don't know if it's in Vegas anymore, but it certainly was in Oakland. But even those areas, like, I'm not sure most people want to be in those. That tends to be more of an edgy, that's not a family sort of thing.
No,
not at all. Like, that's like being in the outfield at Wrigley or Dodger Stadium. It's not exactly where you want to be, like the rowdy section. But when you go to Asian baseball games, when we went over there, I told my kids, and I said, trust me, because we like going to baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
I've always taken my kids up to baseball games, up to Mariner games, and we'd go out to Hops games.
I like the Hops games. That's a good time,
Yeah, it's
too.
a good time.
Bang for your buck wise, that's a good one.
Yeah. And when I took him to we went and saw the Hanshin Tigers, which is like the Chicago Cubs of the Nippon League in Japan. And I said, trust me, guys, this will be the most fun you've ever had at a baseball game. And every player has a song that the crowd chants. Like it never stops. It is a nonstop party. In the 7th inning stretch, they have like a disco party. It's a nonstop party that no one sits down the entire time. And we got done, and my kids were like, "Oh my God, why don't we do baseball like that?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And is it too cool for school? It's not what it once was, because we have like kind of that tradition. Why don't we embrace the entertainment? Because you see like what the Savannah Bananas are doing.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Right.
The Savannah Bananas are taking a European Asian sort of model and bringing it to baseball, and people can't get enough of it.
Yep.
It's amazing that in sports where you're struggling to get attendance, why people don't adopt that more.
I've always thought that that's where the NBA has dropped the ball.
Yeah.
That they've leaned into music,
Yeah.
like specifically like a lot of rap.
Sure.
During the game.
Yes.
Like in action.
Yes.
There's not a lot of cheering. Tickets are there's a lot of cheering. There's not orchestrated, organized cheering.
No.
Tickets are really expensive.
Yep.
It's much more corporate.
Yes.
And I do think if you want to improve attendance in the NBA, making it more family accessible is the key. Luckily, it's a star-driven league, and there are a lot of stars right now.
Yeah.
A lot of stars right now. But I always felt like the NBA was missing that, because football in America is its own thing. It's really hard to compare to anything else because no one else has football like we have football.
They don't have to do a damn thing in football. They're doing just fine.
Baseball, we've accepted baseball as almost like, I have a buddy who goes to baseball. He lives in Arizona.
Yeah.
He goes to baseball games during the day,
Yeah.
and he brings his work laptop and works.
It works.
And it's like a casual kind of thing.
Yeah.
Basketball is the one where you're engaged, but unless that basketball action itself is good, basketball's not great to watch.
But
You need to have that fan experience, and I do think the NBA needs to get into some of that because it's way too star hip-hop driven right now, and if that's not working for you, there's a reason attendance doesn't seem to be where I think they would assume it
But
would
the
be.
difference is the NBA is a professional sport. When you have the antics, the music, the goofiness,
It cheapens it.
It cheapens it. It's exhibition. It's minor league. We
But-
see that
but
in
it-
AAA and AA.
in other countries, though, I'm telling. I'm not saying that.
But those aren't the top leagues in the world.
Well,
That's the
the
difference.
European soccer certainly
That's
has.
true.
European soccer does. Now, the Korean leagues and the baseball leagues.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you can't. I don't think the NBA wants that, because then it looks like it is cheapening the league as it's a minor league system. It's an exhibition.
See, and that's
type
why
thing.
that's why I wondered: is it a too cool for school thing?
I think it kinda is.
I think it is.
It's viewed below us. Look, all I'm saying, I grew up an NBA fan, and somewhere along the way, the NBA lost me. I am just outside of the Blazers. Everything I watch in the NBA is through the prism of the Portland Trail Blazers. And to be honest with you, a lot of it is because I do this as a job.
Yeah.
Right? You have to kind of pay attention to it, although maybe some people don't.
You don't have to.
I choose to pay attention to it because I want to have an idea of kind of what's going on. Outside of that, when I go to a Blazer game, let's say I go to 7 to 10 Blazer games a year. And for the most part, that is me and my buddies will go. My gal's company has a luxury suite, so it's usually a social event, right? I can't tell you the last time I went to an NBA game because I wanted to see a specific person.
So again, you kind of fall into the more corporate-y
Yes. And I will tell you, one of the rubs I have with the NBA is that when I go to those games, I don't really have a rooting interest. I don't find them that interesting. I really don't. Like, half the time I find myself at one of the bars. I'll go down to like the speakeasy and I'll have some drinks and it's on the TV, and then if it's a close game in the fourth quarter, then you kind of go out and you watch it. It's more of a social thing, because when I'm sitting in my seat, I don't think that the product and the environment is that great.
It's not compelling.
When
It's
I
not
go to a
particularly
Major
compelling.
League Baseball game, I do, even though there may not be a lot going on, I have the sunshine, I get a dog, it's a beer. Aesthetically, I go down to Dodger Stadium and it's beautiful. NBA arenas tend to be pretty sterile. There's not a lot. Like, if you're not a diehard NBA guy, because Steven, you are, you go to the game and you're locked in. if I'm not a diehard NBA guy, what is the NBA experience bringing me other than a sterile building and a product that until the fourth quarter that I may or may not care about?
It's hard because you're right, because baseball is as Andrew said too, it's accepted as a social thing. Like, I'm going to go there, sit in the sun, have some fun, maybe talk to some friends. Like, I don't need to focus on the game. Where the NBA wants to position themselves as, you need to lock in. Like, we're the NFL light. Like, but it's hard because when the stars aren't playing, it's not the best of products. It's hard. Like, if you are not a diehard NBA fan, I would think it is hard to go to an NBA game. Now, if you have a family, you bring kids, they make it fun with the little mascots running around, and they have fun watching them. But I agree with you. Like, if you are not a fan of a team and you're just there to watch players and they're not playing, I don't know what you're going for. Like, it's hard. It really is hard.
And it's expensive.
It is.
It's not
really
cheap.
expensive.
So that's my thing, is if you do want to go with your family, and you got your wife, you got 2 kids, you're into it for $600-700 by the time you get out of there, and that's asking a lot if you're not. Again, we're not all locked in.
No.
We're going as a family activity. I find that that's asking a lot for me to spend my money to go have an activity that's just. I'm not going to say it's background noise, but it's a cool thing to go do.
Right. I do think the Blazers have done a decent job of trying to make it a more family-friendly environment.
Have they?
Yeah, and kind of have more things for kids to do. You know, like you can walk around and go pretend like you're dunking on a hoop, stuff like that up at the 300 level. But you're right. Like, if you're there to watch the product, it's a tough product to watch sometimes.
So I just, and again, my kid's a little bit older. I just know for me, when my kids are in town, my daughter comes in from overseas, or my son's home from college or whatever, and we always go do something, we're way more inclined to go watch a Winterhawk or a Timber Thorn game, or even a Hops game, than we are a Blazer game. Like, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've gone to multiple of each one of those. Spent the 4th of July, went out to a Hops game, right? Hey, what do you want to do on the 4th of July? Let's go see a baseball game. Or we'll drive up to a Mariner game. Done both. Countless Timber games, go to Winterhawk games all the time with the kids, pile them all in there, go, Hawks, great. 2 hours, you're out of there. Timbers games they love going to. I can't remember the last time that we as a family got together and went to a Blazer game.
Yeah.
I can't. And that's weird because it's such, I mean, it is the team of record. It's the only, quote, major league of the big 4 that we have. And I grew up going to Blazer games. My dad took me to Blazer games all the time. And somewhere along the way, I don't know, it lost me. And it lost my kids. And I wonder how many people out there, like, as my kids get older, I'm not certain that they will take their families back to the Blazers. And I wonder how much of that has kind of eroded over the years.
Well, if you look at it, like you pointed out, $600-700 to sit in the 200 section.
Yeah.
With a family of 4.
Yeah.
You could probably do 5 or 6 Hops games, a couple of Disney on Ices, which for my daughter, who is 7, she's
jam.
way into Disney on Ice. She loves that. I called in some favors, and the Hoop Summit people were great, and they got her courtside seats for that. She was really into that, being that close, and watching the girls, all-American level of girls basketball. She was really into that, and that was last year, so she was 6. And she was fascinated. I want to play basketball. They put her on the Jumbotron for a long time.
Sure.
So we took pictures of that, and she was all excited about that. Then we went to a bigger game, and we had to sit to take the whole family. We sat in like the 300 level, and she wanted to go home. And it was more expensive by a lot than Hoop Summit courtside had I had to pay, Disney on Ice, and several Hops games.
Yeah.
So it wasn't worth it at all.
I do wonder if the Portland Fire do have that going for them. The tickets will be a little cheaper.
I'll be interested to see.
I think they're going to be expensive. The
You think so?
WNBA is not cheap.
Well, I know the Thorns jacked theirs up. When the Thorns split from the Timbers.
And I think that would be a problem. If they come in and they're trying to have high prices.
Well, so the reason why I end up at all these Timbers games, one of my very dear friends, he has a table down, and remember, the Timbers and Thorns used to be one entity, and so he would buy a table and you would get both. When the Timbers and the Thorns split, obviously those were 2 different tickets. The Thorns took that table, and I won't say how much. They more than doubled the cost of it. Like, they came to him and he was like, excuse me? So it wasn't like it was up by 10, 20, literally it more than doubled. And he was like, yeah. And so we knew some people down there, and we used to, and the Thorns are a great experience. And we used to go, and same thing. You bring your daughters or whatever, and here's some great gals, and it's a great value. But at some point, man, that's a tough. I know a couple people that when they saw that ticket price were like, yeah, we're not doing that. So there is that push-pull between value and experience, because you've got a couple boys that I'm assuming are big NBA. How many games do you take them to?
I've taken them to 0 this year because the tickets are so expensive. I used to get free tickets and they loved it.
Yeah.
But now I haven't been getting free tickets and it's hard to justify it. Like there was a Sunday, I believe they played the Knicks, and I was like, oh, let's just check out tickets. What the price? It was $80 was the cheapest ticket to get in. And it was literally seats against the back, last row.
That's tough.
I'm like, I'm not
It's brutal.
spending.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Well,
I'm not spending $300 to bring the family for one game. That's
and to need binoculars the whole game.
Right.
Yeah, it's a tough.
insane.
I wonder what that will do to the next generation. Because you're a diehard. I grew up a Blazer fan, going to those Blazer games. I didn't really bring my kids a bunch. Sounds like you're not bringing your kids a bunch for those reasons. So I wonder what that will do to the next generation of fans as we move.
in all sports. Really.
In all sports,
because
yeah.
everything is so expensive now.
Well, and I saw too, and we'll talk about this, kind of later on. But I saw a thing with LeBron last night. LeBron was in Cleveland. And he ended up kind of crying, and that's probably his last time in Cleveland. And he said he does not want a farewell tour because he doesn't want to disappoint people because he knows he's not going to play in a lot of those games. And we talked about kind of load management and that being a problem in the NBA. That's the greatest NBA superstar in 30 or 40 years, and he doesn't want to have a farewell tour because he knows he's not going to play a lot of those games. And there's another one, too. If you buy tickets to the Spurs, that's a 50-50 chance that who you're going to pay is going to be there, and that's another problem. I back in the day when Allen Iverson came to town, that was one of those, like, as a media member, I'm like, I'm going to go cover that game. I want to watch Iverson. Honestly, on a day-to-day basis now, when you see who's coming, you're like, oh, the Nuggets are coming. You're like, wait, is Jokic playing? And if he's not, all of a sudden you're looking at that.
Always the first question is,
Yeah.
is Jokic playing? Is
Yeah.
Wemby playing?
Isn't it Luka that his teams have played in Portland now 5 or 6 different times in the
And he
last
hasn't
few
played.
years, and he's never played? I
I
think
believe
it's
so,
Luka
yeah.
that hasn't played in Portland in multiple years. By the way, I looked up Portland Fire tickets, 200 level.
Yeah.
They play 22 home games.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to factor that in.
Sure.
$2,500 per season ticket. So that's to sit in the 200
one ticket?
level, each ticket.
Yeah.
So it's roughly $125 a seat for the 200 level for the Portland Fire. I think that's a tough sell. I do.
That is.
And I really do want to support the Portland Fire. I'm going to get their hat. I think the hat looks awesome. I think the jerseys are a little plain, but I'm definitely going to rock one of those hats. But
We'll see.
I'm not paying $150 to sit in the 200 level.
I'll see what, by the way, we need to get through the work stoppage, right? And actually
Right.
see.
They have to actually play.
Yeah, and
That's
so
true.
we'll everything's kind of a price point. We didn't even mean to have that discussion. It just kind of stumbled upon that, and things to do in the city and price. And I just remember growing up that I felt like Blazer fandom, because it's still a great fan base. Like the Timbers Army and the Timber fans are incredible. Rip City still has that, but I wonder as this goes along if maybe we haven't lost some people, and that's just the NBA in general. And maybe to a larger point, that's just sports in general, with the exception of the NFL, because that damn thing, boy, ain't nothing stopping that. That thing is a freight train from hell. And when we come back, we'll talk a little NFL here on 105.1 The Fan. text the program, 503-864-6326. 864-6326. Someone saying, I used to drive 2 hours to see a game. Mentioned like with Allen Iverson, and said I would never do that now. I do hear from a lot of people that are saying they won't buy tickets until the day of the game when they know for certain. Like if the Spurs are coming and you're not certain that Wemby's playing, I do know a lot of people now that will wait until an hour before the game and go on the secondary ticket market. Because it is true, like especially if Wemby doesn't end up playing, a lot of those tickets at the end can plummet and you can get in for kind of cheap if you're willing to kind of wait and kind of white knuckle that at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can get in for cheap to see the Spurs without Wemby. I mean,
but then you're watching the Spurs without Wemby.
That's the problem with the NBA. You can either pay the premium early, gambling that player may or may not play. Yeah. You can buy tickets day of at the super premium once it's confirmed they're going to play, but that doesn't really allow you to plan. Yeah. Like and that's a lot of money to just flippantly. I don't think a lot of families at 4:30 p.m. are like, "Oh, injury report says Wemby's good. Let's spend $1,000 real quick and get tickets." Yeah. So it's an expense you have to plan for. Yep. With a product that you don't really know until day of, and heaven forbid you buy them early, pay the premium, and it's announced that Denny's out and Wemby's out, and your tickets that you paid to sit relatively close, let's say $200 a ticket, you bought 4 of them, $800. Those same tickets now, when you want to resell them, someone's going to offer you $250 for the set.
And to a larger extent, I mean, Steven, you mentioned this off the air when we were talking, like college football playoffs, like half of those stadiums were I'm not saying they were empty, but with the exception of the national title game, there were a lot of empty seats at those things. And that's what people were saying. Like, one, you're asking me to travel to 3 different games. And what was the price on some of those tickets? Like face value on some of those seats were insane.
Crazy. Yeah. National title game, it was like $2,000-$3,000 just to get in.
The get-in price was over $3,000.
Where then you go back to the quarterfinals versus Texas Tech for Oregon. It was $30 to get in.
Yeah.
And the stadium's half empty. It's like, you can't expect these fans to travel to Florida and then to Dallas and then to wherever and then back home and then to another spot. Like these leagues are outpricing themselves right now for a lot of their big time games, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's so short sighted to me that it does worry me about sports, especially like college football. Like I love college football. I'm worried about the future of how it's going to turn out.
Well, I do know too, like if you want good seats in college programs, and now it's you have to make donations.
Yep.
Right? If you're not a donor and you're not up in your seats, at a friend of mine who was a big Husky guy every year, you had to keep donating to was like the Tyee Fund or whatever in order to get better parking, and it's like it's a thing. There's increasingly a void. And I think this goes across, I don't think this just sits at sports. I just think there's an increasing void in things that are deemed affordable anymore.
Yes.
Someone on the text program just said, people are just tired of getting ripped off.
Yes.
People in this country are just tired of being ripped off. Anything that's not what it used to be because the powers that be that have overcharged for everything. I think there is a certain element to that obviously bleeds over into sports, but it is a much larger problem that there is very few things anymore that are, quote, affordable and
a good value.
And a good value. It from food to entertainment to you name it. It's just...
At least with sports, you can stay home and watch it on your TV, and and they've made technology so good, like it's not a terrible thing to be like, I'm just gonna watch this NFL game on the TV because I can, do whatever.
Someone said the face value of the national championship game, the face value was $930 minimum face value.
That's crazy.
Well, what's the Super Bowl is what? I saw Softy today was posting. Dave Softy Mahler covers the Seahawks up in Seattle, about as big as Seahawk honk as you can find. I think he said 2 corner seat in the Super Bowl, bad seat. I think he said 43.
According to AI on Google, it says it's approximately $5,800 is the get-in price.
Oh my God!
I don't know if that's real, but yeah, StubHub is like $6,200.
Good Lord! Get in. That's just I'm sure Softy through the Seahawks. I think probably gets them at face value.
Right.
But dude, that is. Yikes!
Yeah, it's insane.
You imagine being on your bucket list saying, "Hey, you want to go to the Super Bowl?" And someone's like, "Yeah, you want to go to the Super Bowl?" $5,300. Like, how many? I'm not going to say that there's not real fans of the Super Bowl because clearly there is, but boy, it ain't the dude that's 9 to 5. The 12s aren't at the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that. Right. $5,300 to get in.
The Microsoft guys are.
Good God.
I think this is happening with the movie theater too, right? Where it's really expensive relative to what it is. I can wait 3 months and it's going to be on Netflix or Disney Plus,
which I'm already paying for.
or I can spend $80 for 4 people to go if we get popcorn or whatever. I haven't been to a movie. The last movie I went to was Timothy Chalamet's
Is that Dune?
the Willy Wonka movie.
Oh, the Willy Wonka one.
That's the last time I've been in a movie theater.
Yeah.
And I used to go to movies a lot, like several times every summer.
Yeah, I do love the movies.
And I don't go to movies anymore. And I think it's happening to the movie theaters too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, someone Softy said 2 tickets, worst seat in the house, corner end zone, $4,500 a pop. I think is what he had, and that guy probably has connections. Like he's like that's the best. That's the best you can do. Someone said, "What do we do? Do we renovate our kitchen or do we go to the Super Bowl?"
Do we buy a used car and go to the Super Bowl?
That's what it is at this point.
Yeah, you want to use Subaru, you want to go to the Super Bowl.
And that's not accounting for food, parking, anything you want to do before the game. You're going to get
Flight
You're going
to
to show
it?
up day of the game and just go straight to the game. No,
When we were down the last time Oregon played in the national championship, I think that was the one. I think the Ohio State game was in Texas. And the first one, the Auburn one, was in Arizona, if I remember.
Yep.
We went to the Ohio State one. We were taking the media shuttle down there. And we were going across the parking lot. And I'm telling you, there was a parking lot that was like, you were walking a mile or two. It wasn't by the stadium. It was out there. I think you were in Dallas and you had to walk to Fort Worth. And I saw that, and that far lot was $100. And I said, are you effing kidding me? And then as we got closer, the next lot was like $150. I started laughing. It's like it was the closer you got to the stadium. I think by the time we got up to the lot that was by the stadium, if I remember correctly, I want to say it was $250, $250 or $300 to park in front of was it the AT&T, the Cowboy Stadium?
Yeah. And
it's just like, I think about that every time, T-shirts and all that, and it's just it is a lot in the world of sports, but that's. I mean, it's funny. We're all talking about this, but it doesn't seem like it's ever changing. I just don't think that I don't know how you put Pandora back in the box. I think this is just the reality of what we're living in right now.
I am worried about the Portland fire. I do think people have less money than they used to. I think that's definitely a reality of just our current economic system. They're a brand new team, and it's expensive to go.
Yeah.
Those prices that you just said were alarming to me.
That's a lot. $150 to sit in the 200s, or maybe it's 110 to 120, whatever. That's a lot per ticket.
Yeah, someone said, I've had season tickets to the Seahawks for 20 plus years. In that time, it changed from blue collar and families to corporate and people who sell their tickets every week. Yeah. In fact, the Seahawks were threatening for the NFC title game. They were threatening people caught selling their seats to remove their season tickets.
Yes.
They were like, look, if you've been selling your seats all year and you're selling it for this game, we want a home field advantage. They were threatening people to remove their season tickets.
I think the Broncos put like a geo blocker on so anybody like outside of a certain area couldn't buy, especially like in the Northeast.
Oh, it's that thing. Like if you have Seahawks tickets and you can get NFC title games, you can probably pay for the bulk of your season by selling that ticket. Or when the Niners came to town, I do know people that do that. They sell 1 or 2 games and it funds the entire.
Well, same thing with the NBA. If Wemby plays, sell that ticket.
Yeah.
My cousin did that with Duck season tickets. Had Oregon Duck season tickets, and then the last couple of years, I think the ticket he sold was the Ohio State game, which it's a bummer not to go to that game, but it paid for all the season tickets for the whole year to not go to the Ohio State game. I was like, well, that's kind of worth it.
Yeah.
And most of the donation. Like it covered a lot of it.
I have a ticket broker friend who offered me free tickets to the Washington-Michigan national title game a couple years ago. He said, I was honored, but when I looked at plane tickets, hotel reservations, short notice, I would have been in it for a minimum of $3,000 to $4,000, even with free tickets to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's just the – you're right. And believe me, once the title game is set, all that airfare – like if you were in Bloomington and you were trying to get to Miami, the moment Indiana went – shocking development. Every one of those flights to get to Miami just went through the roof.
Then your team loses, and you're like, damn it, why'd I pay $5,000 to go to this game?
Well, they say the best value in sports is the Final Four. That if you just show up at the Final Four and you don't care, you wait until, because they sell them in blocks. So when when you buy a ticket to the Final Four, like let's say you're a North Carolina fan and you're in the Final Four, you buy that ticket, you have to buy the Final Four ticket and the national title game ticket.
Right.
And so what you do is if you just want to go to a Final Four, so it's by far the best value in any of these, you wait until North Carolina loses, and then you go buy North Carolina fans championship game ticket because they don't want it.
I've been to a Final Four. It was not very expensive.
Yeah.
I went in Houston. We paid for the trip, and then the tickets were actually pretty cheap. And we wanted to do the whole Houston, Texas thing. We went to a Final Four. It was the year that UConn won with Kimball Walker.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you can do that, but you have to kind of, you're not going to see your team, but you can try to finagle your way into that sort of thing. All right, we come back in the news right here on 105.1 The Fan. Here, though, Stephen with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Philadelphia Eagles. They have made an offensive coordinator hire. It's going to be former Packers QB coach and former Oregon State Beaver quarterback Sean Mannion. Sean Mannion was with the Packers, and now he's just 33 years old. He was actually an active player as recently as 2023 when he was with the Vikings and with the Seahawks. Quarterback Josh Allen, he had surgery on a broken bone on his foot. He said the injury stemmed from an older incident aggravated Week 16, but said he will be ready for OTAs. Trailblazers center Dwap Reed, he's going to have surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. He'll be out for the season. While good news, though, Scoot Henderson, he has been cleared for contact drills and is nearing the end of his recovery from a torn hamstring that he suffered at the start of the season. He's missed the entire year so far. Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks with a right hamstring sprain. Lakers center Jackson Hayes, San Antonio Spurs rookie Carter Bryant have accepted invitations to the Slam Dunk Contest, while Mac McClung, who's won 3 straight years, he will not participate this season. And Kansas expects to have Darren Peterson available on Saturday when Kansas hosts BYU, and AJ DeBonsta. Going to be a good matchup as Peterson and DeBonsta are projected to be 2 of the top 3 picks in the upcoming NBA draft. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Stephen Vaughn from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, miss at work? Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home
All right, welcome in. It is, God, it is the 29th already. In the year of our Lord, 2026, that means it is time for In the News. Noted news contributor sitting in for your noted news man on vacation down in Mexico, I believe Cancun, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're in Cancun way and you see a shirtless man with a fedora and a gray beard, that's Isaac Robb. I can't believe, by the way, it's already the 29th. It's January. It's gone by so damn fast.
It really flew.
Really has. It is National Puzzle Day. Do you like to puzzle?
On vacations, occasionally, like get a cabin, go to the beach, have some drinks at night, and put together a puzzle. That kind of thing, but that's about it.
Because you do you have like a Christmas cabin?
We do a puzzle in Leavenworth every year.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. My gal this year got a puzzle board.
Okay. And
I was making fun of her. It's like, you're not going to puzzle. It's like, there's no way you're going to finish a puzzle. She's a lot of, I'm going to do this and never does it.
Yeah.
Son of a gun. She's become a puzzler. She sits there at night, like while we watch TV or I play video games, and she puzzles.
Yeah.
I can't say that that's ever something that I really wanted to do, but it
will grab you if
she
you
finds
start
it soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll grab you.
You know what grabs me? It's also National Corn Chip Day.
Corn chip?
Corn chip.
Like Frito corn chips or like?
It's corn chip. Yeah, whatever corn chip you want.
Okay.
Corn chips are good. Any sort of chip. This is going to be a bold statement. The greatest snack of all time is chips.
That's not a bold statement. It's just a lay-in.
Corn chip, potato chip. It's the chip.
That's true.
The chip is the great. If you had to have one snack, now it's probably the worst thing for you.
Yes.
But is there anyone that has ever seen a chip and a dip and was like, well, I don't want this?
I'm anti-chip. Are you really?
No.
No.
You may be anti being a fat ass.
Right.
But I don't care. And whether that's a Cheeto, whether that's a Frito, whether that's a Ruffle, a Dorito, you give me a nice chip with some, I don't even need a dip, but I would prefer a dip.
Have you had the Honey Dijon kettle chips?
I don't know if I have. Now,
those are really good, and you wouldn't necessarily think so, because why would you want a chip that was just Honey Dijon?
Yeah.
But they're insanely good.
I like the, if we're going the kettle chip, I like it's the yellow. I think it's like a Parmesan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty good one. Or the Maui one. The Maui, it's like a Maui Zing.
Okay.
You see them at the Hawaiian joints.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good kettle chip as well. My friend though, he's a salt and vinegar. The one I can't get on board.
I don't like salt and vinegar chips.
Pisses me right off. Every time we go anywhere, that son of a bitch always gets a big bag. I'm like, what are we doing? Can't we get something that everyone? I feel like the salt and vinegar is those that love it, and there are those that hate it. It's like pineapple on a pizza.
Yeah.
Don't get it for a group.
Right. It's very niche.
It's rude.
It is. It is.
Yes.
You're excluding probably 70% of the people.
Yeah.
But you're going to get more chips.
Yeah. And that's because he's a fat ass, and I think that's the only reason he does it.
You know what chip has really grown on me as I get older is sour cream and cheddar. Sour cream and cheddar chips. When I was a kid, that wasn't my favorite. I do Doritos, I do barbecue chips. Sour cream and cheddar is a win.
The sour cream and cheddar Ruffle.
Yes, that's what we have though. That's the one. That is the one in the cupboard right now.
Also, very underrated, and this is a corn chip. Very underrated, chili cheese Frito.
Yes.
Oh, I will eat an entire bag. Whatever is in the bag, I will not stop. I have the inability to stop eating chili cheese Fritos.
Have you ever done the self-serving, the small serving of Fritos, and you just put a little scoop of chili and cheese in there and eat it out of the bag?
I've seen that, and
yeah.
that's I've never done it because I just feel like I'll
it's leaning into the fat kid.
It's
in
leaning
you.
in.
But it's very good.
I have to be careful opening the door to the fat kid.
Yeah,
I have to, put up barriers.
I get it.
The Rose Festival is officially merging. They talked about this over the last couple weeks. It is officially happening. The Rose Festival will merge. The Grand Floral and the Starlight Parades will become one. And it will now be the Grand Floral Starlight Parade. And this comes from it's just finances.
Yeah.
So they're gonna chop this into one. So they're gonna start it a little earlier. And so during the daytime, you're going to get the Grand Floral, and then they said about halfway through, as the lights go down, they'll flip it. So if you're at the parade route, the first half of it will be Grand Floral, and then at the back half of it, you get Starlight. But they will say it'll be twice the size of the normal Grand Floral.
That's going to
and the
make
Starlight
parking
Parade.
a nightmare because that's our. Have you ever done that? We used to do it every
Years
year.
and years ago.
We used to do it every year, and we stopped just a couple years ago for the Grand Floral. And man, parking already. You end up taking the max.
Yeah.
And it's already hard to find a spot. This is weird. This is kind of out in left field. I knew this person through other means, just like work stuff, and she had said that, and she was really like a religious kind of uptight. She said the Grand Floral Parade is a massive sex trafficking weekend for Portland.
Really?
And it was like, did you
The
just
Grand
hear?
Floral?
Is this like something that your like church talked about?
It's like a
And
weird Pizzagate sort of thing?
She's like very, very churchy, naive person. I don't talk to her anymore at all. But she was like, it's a huge weekend for that. It's a terrible thing, and they don't talk about it. They should cancel the Grand Floral Parade. And I think she's just wildly missing the mark because I can't imagine that there's a huge sex trafficking ring centered around the Grand Floral Parade.
Maybe that's the beauty of it. It's hiding.
Has
underneath
anyone
your
else
own
heard
nose.
this? If you're a listener and you think, but apparently she was like, they talk about it in my church all the time. We're raising funds to help the girls who are trafficked for the Grand Floral Parade. And I was like, I think you guys are barking up the wrong tree here.
But they did say that the Unified Parade allows us to create a bigger, bolder, and more immersive experience during America's 250th birthday while continuing to offer it for free and accessible to everyone. And they said the new feature will have around 130 total entries. And they said in years past, there's about 85 in each parade. So they're going to jam this together. And so that way you get kind of the benefit of all in one. And it's a cost-cutting measure. They've been losing millions of dollars, and they're trying to encourage more and more people to come out. So maybe this year, if you've, like, hey, which one do you go to? Now you get 2 for 1. And hopefully that'll be a good thing.
Double the sex workers.
Double the sex workers. All right, we come back. We got Oregon graduation rates. Are we the next on someone's hit list? And if you ever wanted to sauna with a bunch of strangers, all of that in the news when we come back.
This is
All right, welcome in. 5 o'clock coming up here. We'll talk a little NFL. Smack dab in the middle of In the News right now. Then for some positive notes, Oregon High School's graduation rate has officially hit 83%. That's a new high.
That's good.
Yeah. Go kids. You know, we were taking a little, we had a little dip there for a while with COVID and all that. They also said this is the first year since COVID that we have had no mask mandates, no distancing, nothing. This was a normal, everything good, all thumbs up graduating class, and up to 83%. And that kind of makes me happy. You don't want the kids dropping out. So it was up almost like 2.5%.
Now it's going to be interesting because I think we're going to have an issue like 16 years from now, because my daughter is in first grade. The class above her, second grade, so I'm doing the math of when they're seniors.
Yeah.
The kindergarten teachers at multiple schools, I know pockets of teachers, they said those kids, it was the highest, North Clackamas School District, it was the most kids in kindergarten who weren't potty trained and the most nonverbal kids they'd ever had, because they didn't have socialization from COVID, and sometimes parents had to work and like make a way to make that work. And so that group, they said, finished kindergarten and they only got through the first couple months of curriculum because it was so chaotic. And then now my daughter's group, who is a year behind, they're in first grade, they're normal. So we might have a dip from the COVID years where those kids didn't get the foundational stuff they needed at 3, 4, and 5, and so they struggle in school.
That's kind of a scary
It's
thing.
kind of a sad thing.
Yeah, because I mean, we all know like COVID was rough on a lot of people, but the lasting impacts of that, like, I mean, there's some significant long-term impacts.
I see it a lot because my son's fifth grader, and they like right in COVID, he was in kindergarten, and so they did literally kindergarten on the computer, virtual classes, and you see it when you go see all these kids together. Like a lot of them just don't know how to communicate.
Yeah. That group in particular, there was a group that it hit when they were like 2 to 5. So those core years of early interacting with someone other than your parents and foundational stuff. And that group, they're second graders right now. They're way behind in school. And I've talked to multiple teachers. I know of at least 2 different school districts where they're saying it set records for, again, in kindergarten, they weren't potty trained, they were nonverbal. There's issues with that group because they didn't have it. I do wonder what's going to happen as they hit high school. But for now, really good sign. We're good here with the graduation rates.
Got it. Over 83%. That's good. We're on the right track. This was kind of scary. I saw this today. NBC News reported yesterday that the Trump administration appears to have targeted Oregon for the next surge after they're done in Minnesota. So if you see now, they're kind of having a scale back right now in Minnesota. Now the hope is that the blowback that they're getting from Minnesota, maybe that this will kind of prevent this. But they interviewed 15 people that were close to the situation. And this was a quote from an unnamed source. It says, "The reality is you can't stop what we're doing. This is the whole point of ICE existing in these cities. Minnesota is not going to be the last that ICE goes to. Oregon was next. We're not done. We need to keep going."
I don't care what side of the aisle you're in politics.
This isn't something that
ICE coming here and escalating their presence being escalated, whether you're on the protester side or ICE's side, it's going to get really
I
ugly.
read this and I'm like, they put 300,000, was it like, 3,000, sorry, not 300, 3,000 federal troops went to Minneapolis. I am just hoping that what has happened there in the blowback does not lead to 3,000 federal troops showing up here. That will not go well.
No.
It will not go well. That will not help anyone. It will do nothing other than cause absolute chaos.
It will create more crime.
Yes.
There will be a lot more
crime. So they're hoping that the blowback that they're getting from what's happening in Minneapolis will stop it. But apparently, according to NBC News, we were scheduled to be next, which...
You know, there are a lot more illegal immigrants in Texas and Arizona, and why are we hitting Minneapolis and Portland?
No.
It's liberal cities. It's a very strange thing.
I really, really, really hope that we aren't the next to face that. My last one here is, I saw this. A Gresham man is accused of stealing dozens of utility trailers and then reselling them across Oregon and Washington. Nicholas Alexander Edwards. You need to look up the details of this because my man is busy doing work. The best part is he was doing all this and he stole over $200,000 of trailers. He did it all while wearing an ankle monitor from stealing trailers. This is like one of those stories that I was reading about. I'm like, my God, my man. He stole a $2,000 trailer from a man in Hillsboro, sold it to another man, and then stole it from the man that he sold it to, and then sold it again. Shockingly enough, he's been caught.
What?
But I love that he has one thing and one thing only. He steals trailers and he sells them.
He knows what he's good at.
He knows what he's good at.
I've got a niche. I've got a crime
He can
niche.
steal and sell trailers. That's what he's good at. He does it. I kind of props off.
Over $200,000. Yeah, in one case from last October, a man reported this trailer where $6,000 was stolen from his home. Soon afterwards, Beaverton police contacted the victim to tell him that his stolen trailer had been sold to someone else in Beaverton, then restolen and sold again.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a sleazy son of a bitch. You sell a stolen trailer to someone, you take his money, and then the next night you show up and you steal it again. You know what? I prefer a little honesty out of my criminals. So apparently they have this guy in a shocking development. He has a rap sheet a mile long. So hopefully that we keep him behind bars, because apparently the ankle monitor is not stopping him.
I understand the trend of not putting criminals' pictures in the paper.
I believe me, I looked for it.
Sometimes I just want to see what they look like.
Believe me, the first thing I did was Google his name, because I've got in my mind what this man looks like,
yeah.
and I need it confirmed. But yeah, the mugshots aren't up.
It just looks exactly like Jeff Rust. Wait, is that Jeff Rust?
That'll do it for In the News. When we come back, we'll hit some headlines here on 105.1 The Fan.
What if you're now from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Philadelphia Eagles, they will be hiring Packers quarterback coach and former Oregon State Beaver quarterback Sean Mannion as their new offensive coordinator. Mannion, 33 years old, was an active player as recently as 2023 with the Vikings. Seahawks will now run the offense for the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles quarterback Josh Allen, he had surgery that was done on a broken bone in his foot. He was walking around on crutches today. Allen said the injury stemmed from an older incident that he aggravated back in Week 16 against the Browns, but he said he will be ready for OTAs and the offseason and will not affect him. Trailblazer center Dwap Reed, he's going to have surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. He will be done for the season. While point guard Scoot Henderson, he's been cleared for contact drills and is nearing the end of his recovery from the hamstring tear that he has been sidelined with all season long. Denver Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon, he will be reevaluated in 4 to 6 months with a right hamstring strain. Lakers center Jackson Hayes and Spurs rookie Carter Bryant have accepted invitations to the slam dunk contest. Mac McClung, who's won the last 3, will not be participating. Maybe now have to watch that one. Kansas, they expect to have Darren Peterson, the star freshman, available to play when Kansas takes on BYU and AJ DeBonsta, another star freshman. Peterson and DeBonsta are projected to be 2 of the top 3 picks in the upcoming NBA draft. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Stephen Vaughn from the George McCoy Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Welcome in. 2 down, 2 to go, just after 5 o'clock. And a rainy, crappy Thursday.
Excuse me. 2 down, 3.
Oh yeah, you got to do recruiting.
Recruiting with Andrew.
Hey, at least you're getting paid for one.
There we go. I get paid for this a little bit.
You get a free coupon.
There you go.
You get like a chicken sandwich.
You got a timber scarf.
Yeah, you got a timber scarf out of it.
I'm not complaining. I'm good.
We probably get you. There's like a neon sign out there. Yeah, the Timbers brought by a bunch of stuff. We had Timber Joey in. If you missed the announcement this morning and on this program, we are now the official home of the Portland Timbers here at 105.1 The Fan and 1080 The Fan, the global fan sports network. All the games right here.
Is that timber sign actually up for grabs, or is that supposed to go in the studio?
I have no idea.
I think that's for the studio.
Well, you could probably take it.
Go put in your car during the break.
Well, look, they brought
He says on live air.
I mean, what? Huh?
Well,
no one's listening.
The Timbers came in this morning because Dirt and Sprague are the ones that broke the news, and the Timbers brought a ton of stuff. They had a two big tables out here full of stuff. And I will tell you, by the time I rolled in here today at 2 o'clock, there were like 3 things that were left.
Yes.
So I'm pretty certain that certain individuals who will remain nameless were taking a lot of things that they probably shouldn't have been taking.
And taking them in bulk.
Yes.
Because when someone comes in and it's not even 3 o'clock yet in an office, and someone says, "Where are all of the hats? Where are all of the replica soccer balls?" The fact that you're saying all of them means there was a lot, and there's only been 5 on-air talents that came in.
And I promise you, too, that like the great Joe Fisher, salesman extraordinaire, I guarantee Joe Fisher has a trunk full of Timbers
You
gear.
think he meandered over?
Guaranteed.
And this is America. We love free stuff.
There is nothing...
I want all the free stuff I can get.
Give
it to me.
There is no group of people, and I'm saying this in because I am one of them. I am part of this group, but I try. How do I say this? Radio people, radio professionals in this industry might be the saddest group of people in the world when it comes to free stuff.
That is true.
If you've ever been to a media event, and again, I am part of the media, so you can say I'm part of the problem too. But I actively do not participate in this for this very reason. If you've ever been to a big event, a Rose Bowl, a national title, a media event, anything that is free and is not bolted down, people will act like it is the Ark of the Covenant. They will freak out about
I think it's
it.
really sexy.
What? Hats? Oh! T-shirts? Oh! And they just, and it's not one that they'll grab either. What, you take 9 of these? Take 9 of these home?
You're gonna take them to kids. I got family.
That to me is what's weird.
There's
Because if
a lot
they're
of that.
out, you can take 1. Media people almost always take 4 or 5.
Yes,
Like
yes.
I grabbed 1 item. I grabbed a scarf. I grabbed one thing, a scarf. And then I feel like there's still a lot of stuff out there. I grabbed that and that's it. My 1 item. People will grab 5 items and grab 4 of each item. And there's like, they're free, but they're free for everyone. It's not just like we're trying to get rid of this crap. It's supposed to be for everyone to take home.
They're like, well, you know what? You should have gotten here earlier. I knew. So we were going to have Timber Joey in, and you can go back and listen to that interview at 3:30. So I knew we were going to have Timber Joey in, and there was going to be like a photo or whatever. I brought my own. So I brought my own Timber sweatshirt, and I brought my own Timber scarf because I knew that when I showed up here at 2 o'clock, because Dusty's like, he goes, hey, they're bringing by some stuff for everyone. They ask sizes. I just laughed and I said, there is 0 chance that anything is going to be left when I get in by 2 o'clock. And when I got in today, there was 1 scarf and 1 hat. And I let you have the scarf. And I was like, here, someone else.
There were multiple scarves.
There was multiple scarves?
Did you take a scarf?
I grabbed a scarf.
Oh, good.
Okay,
All right, so there was
okay.
2 scarves. So each one of you got a scarf. I was like, fine. I brought my own because I knew, like vultures picking a carcass, that everyone in this office would descend. I see it all the time. Like, what? Let me get in here. The Winterhawks come in every year, and we film some promos for them for up on the big board. And the Winterhawks are great. Love those guys over there. They're like so good to us. And they come by and they bring, same thing. They bring sweatshirts and hats. Same thing. Just people just show up. Huh? Do you even work here? I do today.
Yeah,
Let me
for
get
real.
7 of those, 6 of those. Give me a box of these naked lady tees. I'll take this stick. And people just, it's free stuff in radio. People, it's just feeding frenzy. It's just chumming waters.
I have one thing that I really like that I go out of my way to try to get. And that is, and I worked at the Oregonian, we would get whatever Heisman campaign memorabilia that schools would send out because we were the major paper in Oregon. So I always really wanted the Heisman memorabilia for not even necessarily the guys that won. My favorite thing, because it's so random, is Ed Oliver, the defensive tackle for the Houston Cougars. They had a really heavy, it was really quality. They didn't send out like a ton of them. He's riding a horse on a cowboy hat for his Heisman candidacy, and it's just like Ed Oliver on a horse. And I was like, I really want that. And my boss was like, why? And I was like, because it's absurd, and it's going to be absurd later that Ed Oliver was a Heisman candidate, that they created these Ed Oliver on a horse bobbleheads, and I really have to have it. And I still have it because, heck yeah, I wanted it.
Notre Dame sent out that for Jeremiah Love. They sent out like a box of Sweethearts, and they had like it said like JL7 or whatever on it. I left that when I left that station. I left it at the place. I didn't need it. I didn't need the box of Sweethearts.
I'm not much of a promo stuff guy. I'll give it to other people. Like today, the scarves. I'm like, here, dude, just take them. I do have the one thing I still have. If someone wants it, they can have it. I have a Brandon Roy Rookie of the Year. Steven, this might be up your alley.
Brandon Roy's my favorite player of all time.
Do you?
Yeah.
So I will bring this in for you. I have a Brandon Roy Leatherman. The Blazers made a Leatherman because he was like a 5-tool kind of guy. I have a Brandon Roy Rookie of the Year, like embroidered or I guess engraved Leatherman.
That's cool.
That's been sitting somewhere, and I think I still have it. I have a Brandon Roy Rookie of the Year like signed jersey.
If you're giving that up, I'll take it. I love Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy's your favorite player?
All-time favorite
All
player.
right, I will dig through that because I think somewhere I have that in a box because I just give that stuff away because it's just not. I'm not that guy,
pal.
What I want it to go to people that like it.
I would enjoy. I tell you what, I dude.
He's trying everything he can to be cool about. I really, really want this item. Give him the item.
Give it to me now.
I'll dig
He's
that
excited.
out.
He's legit excited. And he should be. That's
the
cool.
only stuff that I have that like I love, I stole. We went down to the national title game. They had it was the first college football playoff that Oregon was in, and they had throw pillows with the college football logo on them.
Sick, actually, yeah.
And they weren't, they were just like on the couches. And I asked one of the people, and they were like, "Oh no, those are just for us." And I was like, "Yeah, we'll see about that." Because that was like something I was like, no one else will have that. Yeah, I stole it. I like shoved it in my bag, like stuff like that. The worst part is the only memorabilia I have is stuff that I stole that's one off that like you can't get. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool because no one else has that. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. I have a Pac-12 beach towel that they had them we did a Pac-12 media day, and they had like a beach theme, and they had Pac-12 media towel, like Pac-12 logo towels, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I was like, are they giving those out? They're like, no, that's just for display. I'm like, yeah, we'll see about that.
I took 5 or 6 of the team towels from the NCAA tournament. So
Yeah.
I got credentialed for the NCAA tournament and covered that for the AP, and then went behind the section because they have so many towels because they want to keep them dry and have them, nice. And once you use them, they're gross.
Yeah.
So there was boxes of towels, and I just yoink. So we have a ton of NCAA tournament towels at our house, like literally a stack of just
love
NCAA
stuff
tournament
like that.
towels.
It's not the free stuff. The free stuff, everyone wants that, but you guys want the stuff that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
I almost always
that is the
want
absolute
something
best.
I'm not supposed
Yeah. If it's something like that, I'm like, all right.
I'm not supposed to have this? I don't think so, sir.
I used to go down when I covered the Blazers. I'd go down to like the visiting locker room and like try to talk to an equipment manager. I'm like, hey, what do I gotta do to grab a pair of shorts? Like a pair of like game shorts from like the Phoenix Suns. Like there's got to be some loser on the team that's got like 8 pairs of these, and you finagle stuff like stuff like that. I thought was pretty cool. But general like giveaway stuff, I'll try to give that to people that would want it or think that it's cool, and I will. I'm gonna go home tonight, Steven, and I'm gonna see if I can find that jersey and the Leatherman, Leatherman for you.
We have real quick. We have some significant but not massive breaking news. Oregon added another transfer player.
Yeah.
Colorado running back Simeon Price has committed to Oregon. Averaged about 6.5 yards a carry last year. They needed depth at running back and addressed it today with Simeon Price. I just think it matters because it's official now. He's officially signed.
Nice. And we do have some former Beaver news, too, because when we come back, I swear we will actually get to some NFL news and notes. We've been kind of all over the map today. It's been a weird day with the Timber announcement and Timber Joey, and we just kind of been off the rails a little bit. And to the guy that, we've seen some of these, the texter that's firing off the random, downfall the station, screw the Timbers. They will not preempt us. Unfortunately for Isaac Robb, there will be no preempting.
Isaac tried.
Did
not happen.
Isaac tried to get all the games to preempt us, but no. When the games when the games are going on simultaneously with any of our shows, they will be over on 1080 a.m. And when they're not, when they have a weekend game or whatever, then they'll be over here on 105.1 The Fan. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view the Timbers or us, they will not bump any of our programming.
The other layer I like from listeners, because having seen the behind the scenes of you and Rob, you guys do not give an S about like, we have to do extra really nice segments about this team. You guys are going to say whatever you're going to say. And there's no scenario where it's like, oh, we have to have 2 really positive Timber segments to start the show. You guys are going to do the exact same show. You might talk about drinking more and your free popcorn at the Timbers games, but that's about all that's going to change.
I will tell you, in the 20...
For this show.
21 years I've been doing the show, the 23 or 24 I've been at the station, I have never once been told what I should talk about, what I can and cannot say. So if you're expecting all of a sudden to be like this flood of soccer, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I go to all the games and I still couldn't tell you what the hell's going on. I'm a supporter of the city. I'm a supporter of the team. I love going to the games. I think it's a really good time. But if you're looking for someone to tell you what, Phil's breakdown and the formation they're playing, you ain't gonna get it from this show.
How many different whiskeys are available in the club section?
That I can talk about. Now, the bartender down at the Lexus Club level, he makes a delicious old fashioned.
There it is. That's my favorite drink. That's my go-to.
And the thing is, they don't allow him to have bitters, so he makes his own simple syrup that he uses for the bitters. I'm telling you, it's quite nice. So I just, that I can tell you. I can also tell you that if you take the 2 Town ciders and you mix them together, the pineapple with the berry one, it makes a delightful little mix. See, that If you want detailed breakdown of what's happening at the Timbers bar, I got you.
Who's the starting keeper for him?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
He's really good.
Okay.
He's phenomenal.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Awesome.
don't worry. No interrupting of the program. We come back. I swear we're gonna at least make the attempt to get into some NFL stuff because there is a lot of news and notes. And oh yeah, by the way, the Super Bowl is coming up, and I actually want to talk about why right now it doesn't feel like there's as much juice behind this game. 105.1 The Fan. All right, welcome in. Talking a little NFL. So the Eagles hired Sean Mannion. It doesn't feel like Sean Mannion is old enough to be an offensive coordinator. I feel like Sean Mannion was still bumming around the NFL like a year or two ago.
He was 2023. He played for the Vikings and Seahawks in 2023. I
was going to say, like, the Oregon State great, Sean Mannion, and we were just talking like yesterday that seemed like no one wanted that Eagles offensive coordinator job, which is strange because it's a really good offense, or it should be a really good offense. It's one of the more talented offenses in the league. You do have to deal with Sirianni, you have to deal with Jalen Hurts, but good for Sean Mannion, who was
and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, look, still, when you're talking about jobs, and we are seeing more and more, I think, coordinator jobs, like the pay at coordinator, we've seen people turn down head coaching opportunities to stay as coordinators.
Yes.
And so obviously that's a huge stepping stone, and you can get paid a lot of money. And when you get in a right situation, 1 or 2 good years as a coordinator, Kellen Moore, can lead you to a head coaching job. I would assume that despite having to deal with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, that Eagle job is one of the better offensive coordinator jobs, but seemingly they had a hard time filling it, and they went with someone who's very inexperienced in Sean Mannion.
It's fascinating because I think part of I guess the only way to say it is like sticker shock of it being Sean Mannion.
Yeah.
He's 11 years younger than Phillip Rivers, who played in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Like he's a whole different era younger than Phillip Rivers, who, again, I know he was older, but played this year. It's weird that Sean Mannion at 33 is an offensive coordinator, but this does set him up, like you said, to have success. That defense is good. They do have weapons. They've got Saquon Barkley. He's got premier weapons at multiple spots. If the Eagles figure it out, and it does seem to be like an every other year thing, he's going to very quickly be in the discussion to be a head coach.
Yeah.
It's too good a job to have been this difficult to fill. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah. Well, and then on the other side, too, the Chargers hired Chris O'Leary, who was the Western Michigan defensive coordinator. He's been at Western Michigan for 2 years. Now, he was a secondary coach under Jesse Minter for a year, but I just thought those were 2 interesting hires on 2 really good rosters. One, a year removed from winning the Super Bowl. The other one, to me, if you're talking about futures, the Chargers are sky high. And you went with 2 very inexperienced coordinator hires, both in Philadelphia and in L.A.
The Chargers one really fascinates me. It's like they know something,
Yeah.
right? Because you can get a better on paper. You can get a better coach than the defensive coordinator at Western Michigan to be with the Chargers. There's some sort of analytics thing that they know that they feel really good about him. I'm going to be fascinated to see what he brings out, because you would have to think he's got some wrinkle, right? He's got something that he's doing that's innovative, that's creative. The Mannion hire, to me, I hope it works out. I'll be rooting for him for sure, but I do think it's a little odd.
Do you think people don't want to work with Jalen Hurts?
Ooh. I don't know if it's Jalen Hurts or Sirianni, because those are such bold personalities, I guess, such defined leaders within that franchise, that I think that potentially could be sticky, right? If you're a really good offensive coordinator, do you really want to deal with Nick Sirianni, like, in your ear or getting upset? Because he does seem like that dude who's a red ass who, when things aren't going right, suddenly is screaming at you, and you're like, dude, it's 14-7.
Well, and 2
down.
people have been fired after 1 year as well.
Right. I think he throws people under the bus. He doesn't make the best adjustments. I've talked about that. I think he's the least innovative coach who's won a Super Bowl in the last maybe decade. I'm not a Nick Sirianni fan.
Yeah.
So I could see an offensive coordinator not liking that. Hurts, I don't think it's so much maybe personality as how limited Hurts.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
how limited.
I mean, by all accounts, Jalen Hurts is a great teammate.
To me, it's like Tua, but he's a healthier, better Tua.
Well,
he's a more mobile.
Yeah,
No,
different skill set, but very limited in.
No, I'm not comparing the quarterback. I'm saying as a creator of an offense, you have to build around his limitations like you would for Tua. Hurts is better. He's more mobile. He's healthier. He throws a much better deep ball. But Hurts a little bit over the middle isn't great. He has to run certain things. He's not able to drop back 35 times a game in those kind of games and just sling it around the yard where you feel good about it. It's a very niche offense that it seems like you have to work around with him. And if I was an offensive coordinator, I would feel pigeonholed somewhat in what I could do.
I just wonder, I mean, obviously that guy goes on and he's played in 2 Super Bowls and he's been phenomenal in both of those.
Yes.
And Jalen Hurts deserved to get paid. But Jalen Hurts is making what, $60 million, I'm guessing, a year? That's kind of that's the going rate.
51.
Okay, so that's not quite as bad as the Dak. So $51 million. It's weird to say for a guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls and has won one, but you wonder as that contract ages if that doesn't become a little bit of an albatross for
The
them.
one thing that's nice for them is quarterback contracts continually go up pretty significantly.
Yeah, and so does the cap.
And this is a not high end, it's kind of the high mid.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, every guy that gets paid after him, the Drake Mays who get paid next, potentially Bo Nix, although we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That contract is going to look a little better and better. But he does seem, I do think there's Tua potential where you go, oh boy, 51 for that guy who's maybe the 17th best quarterback in the league. I think if you gave him a bad O-line and he didn't have Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, Goddard, and that whole lineup, I do think he could look really pedestrian. Like if you threw him on, the Dolphins, for example,
sure.
Are the Dolphins that much better than if they just had Tua? Are they that much better?
Well,
I don't
wonder,
know.
because you look at quarterback contracts, and I do kind of, I'm bringing this up kind of in regards to Bo Nix, and we'll get to some Bo Nix stuff. There was a really awkward press conference yesterday. I don't know when the last time a quarterback called his own press conference.
I think it's fascinating.
This was not a Broncos press conference. This was a Bo Nix press conference. But and I know we got a break. We'll come back and we'll get into the Bo Nix stuff. But we have a Tua contract right now that appears to be quite bad. They don't want it and no one wants it. Kyler Murray has a contract in Arizona that they don't want and no one else wants it. You got a CJ Stroud thing going on right now in Houston. They've got to make a decision coming up. Jalen Hurts, obviously you won a Super Bowl, but when they won that Super Bowl, the passing offense was one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL. But you had Saquon Barkley, and they got hot in the playoffs, and Jalen Hurts played great. I just wonder, as this thing goes on, if the Jalen Hurts contract doesn't become a little bit of the Kyler Murray, doesn't become a little bit of the Tua, and what does Houston do with CJ Stroud? And it's weird to think about this because Bo Nix has been really good for Denver. But was there a crack in that relationship that we saw between Sean Payton and Bo Nix, and what does Sean Payton think of Bo Nix? And vice versa. We talk about that when we come back. One of the stranger things I've seen in the NFL in a while. Here, though, Stephen with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, as the guys were just talking about, the Eagles are hiring Packers QB coach and former Oregon State Beaver quarterback Sean Mannion as their offensive coordinator. Mannion, just 33 years old, was an active player as recently as 2023 with the Vikings, and Seahawks will be the new man calling the plays in Philadelphia and Jalen Hurts and company. Bills quarterback Josh Allen, he had surgery done on his broken bone in a foot. He said the injury stemmed from an older incident aggravated in Week 16. He was seen today wearing a boot, walking around in crutches, but he says he will be ready for the offseason OTAs and it will not hinder him going forward. Trailblazers center Dwap Reed, he's going to have surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. He'll be out for the rest of the season. While Scoot Henderson, the point guard, has been cleared for contact drills and is nearing the end of his recovery from the hamstring tear that has sidelined him for the entire season. Denver Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon is going to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks with a right hamstring strain. Lakers center Jackson Hayes, San Antonio Spurs rookie wing Carter Bryant have accepted invitations to the NBA Slam Dunk Contest. Mac McClung, who's won the last 3, will not participate. Seems like he may be a pass this year for a lot of people. Kansas, they expect to have star freshman Darren Peterson available on Saturday when Kansas hosts BYU and other freshman phenom AJ DeBonsta. Peterson and DeBonsta are projected to be 2 of the top 3 picks in the upcoming NBA draft. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Stephen Vaughn from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon
So we're talking about quarterbacks, and I mean it's the most important position in all of sports, and it's paid accordingly. And the top one's now getting paid $50, $60+ million, and that number keeps going up. And you have a team in Denver that, despite having a bad dead cap money situation with Russell Wilson, was on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. And most people, myself included, believe that if Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, the Broncos are in the Super Bowl. So Bo Nix gets hurt on seemingly a pretty normal play. Down he goes. They don't win with Jarrett Stidham. Sean Payton announces that he has a broken ankle right after the game, which is kind of odd. Normally that doesn't happen.
It's very odd.
Very strange. And then we find out a couple days later from Sean Payton again that Bo Nix is predisposed to ankle injuries. Says that he's had multiple ankle surgeries going back to high school. Says that the doctor said it was a matter of when, not if.
Right.
I mean, kind of alluding to and saying that he has to be protective and he's going to wear orthotics. It was very strange to me.
It was an alarming update about his general health with
Yeah.
that ankle. It was alarming. It's one of those, this is a young quarterback who has to play a different way to protect himself going forward potentially.
Who's one of his big strengths is being mobile and moving
Yes.
around. And
Yes.
Sean Payton's like, well, he's got to be careful. And for the most part, he is. I just thought it was bizarre. I can't remember a coach coming out and being like, I've got a fragile quarterback who's going to have ankle problems and we're going to do our best to manage. It just was such a strange thing for Sean Payton to say. I've never heard a coach do that. You know what else you don't hear very often, with the exception of T.O. doing sit-ups in his driveway? Players don't call their own press conferences. When you have a press conference, it's through the team, it's at the team facility. Turns out Bo Nix, not a big fan of what Sean Payton was saying. Bo Nix held his own press conference today.
Nothing predisposed, nothing that was there originally. I might have gotten confused. Didn't have any predisposed issues. Man, my ankles were feeling really good. I don't think he really should share how many surgeries I've had in the past, to be honest with you, but because I don't, he doesn't really even know that. But I think it's going to be good, to get back, get to work, start from ground zero, work from the bottom up, get back to training, and nothing really that concerns me, nothing that scares me going forward, like I'm, injury prone or anything. This is one of those just inconvenient football plays, and I'm excited already to get back to work, and can't necessarily avoid anything in the future, but I feel really good that my body's going to be in good shape.
He held a Zoom press conference that he called on his own without the Broncos' knowledge to refute what his head coach said, and then said, I don't think my coach should say that because he doesn't know. That is, and it's not getting talked about, I think, a lot on the national shows, and I'm not certain why. Am I the only one that thinks that this is somewhat problematic? That you have a head coach saying, I have an injury-prone quarterback who's had a bunch of ankle surgeries and is going to continue to have ankle problems, and now I've got my quarterback calling his own press conferences. My coach doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
If you had to guess, would you say that Sean Payton believes fully in building around Bo Nix going forward?
I'll tell you what, that one of the things that I wondered when I heard this is, does Sean Payton really, how do I put this? Bo Nix is a nice quarterback. So is Jimmy Garoppolo, so is Mac Jones, and Sean Payton is the sort of guy, much like Kyle Shanahan, that probably believes that if you give him a competent quarterback, Sean Payton can make him into something. It makes me wonder if Sean Payton believes that Bo Nix is really good, or if Bo Nix is good because of Sean Payton.
Yeah, I think this is one Sean Payton flexing the I run this franchise,
Yes.
GD it.
Yes.
That's one.
And if you know anything about Sean Payton,
And that fits.
Sean Payton is a big swing and you know what, and is not afraid to let people know.
He also fired the offensive coordinator as well.
Yes.
Right after the loss
Yes.
to the Patriots. It's almost as if, like you said, he wants us to say, look, I'm in charge. This was not my fault why we lost to the Patriots in this snow game. I can't trust my quarterback. I can't trust my OC.
Yeah,
this loss is not on me.
You were a play away from the Super Bowl with a quarterback that hasn't taken a snap in 2.5 years, and you threw your quarterback kind of under the bus for his career, and you fired your OC. This is not Sean Payton is not doing this unintentionally.
No.
This is a purpose pitch.
But the other piece here is what happens when you label a quarterback injury prone or prone to recurring injuries. You are talking about their money. And so you've got Bo Nix and I'm sure his agent saying, we need to refute this
Yeah.
because it's going to affect your next contract. It also tells me that Sean Payton isn't like, hey, let's hurry in line and pay this guy early and lock him in before we really need to, because this is our guy.
Yeah.
This feels like I can work with him in that like 40 to 45. We talked about Hurts at 51. I'll work with him in that like maybe even 35 to 45 range if he wants to take a discount and be the guy because he's limited. But we're not going to pay him top dollar. And you know how I know we're not going to pay him top dollar? Because we're going to drive the market down.
Yeah.
And I do think that was intentional. I think there was a lot of intentionality in what he had to say, including just that he broke his ankle after the game.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we are who we are regardless of Bo. Yep, our starting
Yes.
quarterback broke his ankle, moving on. Because coaches don't do that. If you can
No.
hide an injury,
You do.
to your backup right tackle.
We've
teams
seen,
do.
We've seen players get meat wagoned off the field, and the coach doing, well, I don't know, we'll have to take a look, and non-committal. I mean, who's to say? Sean Payton comes out, the first thing in the press conference was, well, I'll just get it out of the way. He broke his ankle, and F it.
And his reasoning didn't make sense. He's lying about his reasoning. He said he was worried a doctor would leak it.
Yeah,
If a
bull
doctor
crap.
leaks a broken ankle from a professional football player, they lose their license. That's it.
Did we not realize that Sean Payton just leaked Bo Nix's medical history that was then refuted by Bo Nix? Like, and it's funny. I saw a little interview today with Drew Brees. I guess it wasn't an interview with Drew Brees. It was someone referencing a conversation they had with Drew Brees that when Bo and Drew talked to each other. Remember after that first year, Bo Nix reached out to Drew Brees and to hey, great resource to tap into. And Drew Brees supposedly said that working with Sean Payton is quite tough. And Sean Payton will push you and you have to push back. And there's lots of clips going out there of Bo Nix and Sean Payton kind of getting into it on the sidelines.
That happened a lot this year.
And I don't, it's one thing when Drew Brees is pushing back. It's another thing when you have a quarterback who has been okay, good in clutch moments, not running a top 10 offense here. I think this is something to keep a real eye on.
It is.
Come next year, especially if Bo Nix, God forbid, has another problem and has another injury.
Well, Bo Nix does his press conference by himself. Is there a chance, Suk, you probably know this more than anybody, that he could have gone to the Broncos and said, can I do a press conference? And they said no?
I've never seen that. I honestly, again, outside of a guy like T.O. just calling the media together, when's the last time you remember a quarterback having his own press conference?
To refute what the head
To refute
coach
what
said.
the head coach said.
That's why it's throwing me off, because it's like, I would love to think Bo went to the Broncos like, hey, let's do this. And they're like, nope, we can't do this. And then Bo just said, I'm doing it by myself.
I'll do you one further.
You are ruining my legacy, my contract I'm going to get.
The fact that he said right away his ankle's broken, he's out, and then talks about, well, his history is shaky.
Yeah.
That's broken trust.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any world in which Bo Nix goes to the Broncos and go, hey, I need to refute this because my coach has broken my trust and I want to fix this. And the Broncos go, yeah, go ahead. I think he just did it. And I think that relationship is fractured. When this kind of stuff doesn't happen behind the scenes, hey, don't leak my medical history.
Yeah.
With some choice words.
There's some other
too.
stuff.
There's other stuff. Yeah. This is just what's public. And now it's at the point where they are both subtly
taking shots
at each other through the media.
If you're the
That's
Broncos,
a problem.
if you're the Broncos, you take
Sean Payton. It's not close.
It's not even close. But it's weird in that I said that if I'm betting on futures, I love Denver's future. Like you have a very bright guy, you have a competent quarterback, and you have a roster that will continue to get better because Bo's cheap for a long time. And you're going to get more flexibility once you move off the Russell Wilson contract. They have as much dead money as basically anyone in the NFL on the Russell Wilson contract. So they are going to be able to add to this roster. I think the future for Denver is sky high. I think this complicates it. I think this is very, 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 very problematic that you have this open, seemingly now war of words. I cannot recall something quite like this. And now you start looking into kind of body language, and now you're kind of going back and looking a little bit. when there's smoke, there's fire. This is the whole Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia, A.J. Brown thing. Everyone can pretend that, Shaq and Kobe had this. Everyone loves to pretend that everything's hunky-dory. But when there's enough of this stuff, it comes from somewhere. And now we're starting to look. There's real stuff here.
Yes.
And I would side with Bo on this. Imagine Scoot Henderson, who's been out with this hamstring. And it's seemingly going on for forever. And we'll see. Imagine Thiago Splitter or Joe Cronin coming out tomorrow and being like, yeah, we got to be extra careful with Scoot. I know it's been longer. We think he should have played by now, but God, he's got hamstring problems, and we think he's going to always have hamstring problems. And our doctors told us that he's had hamstring problems in the past. You don't know about him, but trust us. And so now we have to be like, we would all sit here and be like, what the F?
Yeah.
And that's Scoot Henderson, who's kind of a non-factor. I guess it'd be more like Denny. I mean, this is Bo Nix. He's your franchise quarterback.
But that's the message.
And you now have a pissing contest between the head coach and the quarterback. This is not good.
But that's it. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Because here's the bottom line. You just said you would invest in stock if you could in the Broncos.
Yes.
Okay. So you'd invest in that stock, the defense, the coach. You laid all that out. What if I told you could still have that stock?
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, they're going to trade, and I'm not saying this is all hypothetical. They're going to trade Bo Nix and play the quarterback rehab roulette of Mac Jones. How much would that worry you in your stock? Would it worry you at all? Would it worry you 5%? Because if it wouldn't worry you more than like 10%, then that means Bo Nix isn't the answer, and Sean Payton may not care.
Yeah, and maybe that's ultimately this is. I like Bo Nix. And I've said it all along. Bo Nix is not, in my opinion, what I've seen, Bo Nix is not going to be a top 10 quarterback.
No.
But I think what you've proven in some of these reclamation projects, you don't need to be a top 8-9 quarterback when you build the team a certain way. And maybe that's ultimately, you are right. This may be the first real sign that Sean Payton thinks we are successful with Bo Nix, and we don't need Bo Nix to be successful.
What if, for example, again, all purely hypothetical, Bo Nix gets traded somehow to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the Broncos go, hey, we like this mobility. We like what he brings. We're going to sign Malik Willis for dirt cheap for 2 years and then use the rest of the money elsewhere. Would that change the way you view the Broncos much at all?
I will say at this point, I think Sean Payton, with what he's done in this turnaround, and I was a little skeptical, like with the magic touch. I think Sean Payton's a good coach. I think what he's done in Denver these last 2 years, I give him the benefit of the doubt.
And so because
if Sean Payton decided to move on from Bo Nix and go with the Malik Willis, I think you would have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
And I think you'd at least have to say, if you're in that building, Sean Payton goes, I can save us $30 to $40 million per year.
Yeah.
By doing this, and I'll tell you, I'll get 85% of Bo Nix from Malik Willis, but I'll get a Pro Bowl left guard, and we'll add a number 2 linebacker that's really good. I think you could convince a GM that's the way to go, and this absolutely is Sean Payton saying, know your place. Yeah. You are not bigger than this thing. In fact, you're not really a factor. We're just going to announce you're out because we'll be fine without you. We are who we are.
Yeah, and this coming off the Russell Wilson debacle that has put them back years. They're finally getting over it. Do you want to invest in Bo Nix just like the Eagles invested in Jalen Hurts, Dolphins too? Like, if they're not the guy, let's end it quickly and figure it out going forward.
Someone said it right here. Payton to Bo Nix. I made you the star you are. And the power play. Just something to keep an eye on. Look, Bo's going to be back in Denver, 100%. He ain't going anywhere this year. He's still cheap. They got another year before they have to decide whether to even pick up the option or pay him. You can't pay him. He's got to play this year again on the rookie contract, and then the decision will be made what you do with him. But this is a power play. Just something to keep an eye on. I think it's very, very bizarre what happened today, and not a lot of people are talking about. All right, we'll put a bow on the sports section of this when we come back. 105.1 The Fan.
It's
kind of up against it, so we didn't get to it, but we'll talk about it tomorrow because the one thing, I mean, we talked plenty of NFL this week, but the one thing that we haven't really talked about a lot is the Super Bowl. It's kind of weird and just something to kind of ruminate, and again, we'll bring it up tomorrow, but like I'm starting to wonder, because we talked about this with the college football playoff, the long space in between the college football playoff games, you get that 10-day period, kind of feels like it kind of kills the momentum. And this is the only time in the NFL where we have this. The NFL is a machine, week to week to week to week to week to week, and there's always something there. And then we get this little weird kind of space here where we don't even have media day yet. The teams aren't even there, and they'll start ramping up obviously this weekend. But it is kind of a weird 4 or 5 days where you got coach hirings and you got kind of OCs and kind of rumors going around about that. But I haven't really seen anyone actually talk about the Super Bowl. And how much of that is it not the most compelling game in the world, or is it just a product of the gap? And so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and next week it'll kind of ramp back up.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me the number one thing is there is Patriots fatigue. You can sell that the Patriots are the big bad when it's Belichick and Brady again because they're Darth Vader. When it's Drake May and Mike Vrabel, the fatigue is real, and there's no one to prop up against it that's a superstar. And then, honestly, name the face of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
There
really isn't one.
I mean, Witherspoon's their best player, right? Just individually?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you got
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, Leonard Williams. But, yeah, none of them are really – and the quarterback's the most anonymous player in the NFL. You're right. There just isn't there is not a national figure anywhere on that team, including Mike McDonald.
They can't sell it.
Yeah.
They can't sell it. How would you sell the star power of this Super Bowl? It's the Seahawks, who people if there is regionality in the NFL, and I don't really think there is, like stars are stars and everybody watches all the teams. Yeah. But the Seahawks are up in the Pacific Northwest. So you're not engaging the California audience. In fact, they're out. As a 49er fan, I'm rooting for I'd rather have the Patriots win, just generally. I don't want to see the Seahawks win where the 49ers play. The Rams just got knocked out, so they're not going to be rooting for the Seahawks. So you've got now the state of California that's kind of out on the West Coast for a West Coast team. That's a problem. Yeah. And then on the flip side, you've got Patriots fatigue, and it's Drake May and Mike Vrabel. I just don't know how you sell it. Like Jackson Smith and Jigba, one-on-one will be covered by Christian Gonzalez. Well, sort of. They put him in the slot and kind of hide him, so Gonzalez isn't going to be covered. So even the marquee matchup is not a matchup you're going to get a whole bunch of. So it's just a really weird Super Bowl. When you've sold the Pats in the past, you were selling the biggest coaching face and quarterback face maybe in the history of the league. Drake May and Mike Vrabel just don't hold a candle to that. And then the Seahawks are the least recognizable Seahawks team ever. There's no beast mode. There's no Richard Sherman in terms of outspoken, bigger, larger-than-life personality. And I think because of that, it's much easier to talk about other stuff.
Yeah, and certainly people have. Well, maybe tomorrow we'll actually start taking an initial look at what the Super Bowl is going to be, because despite the Seahawks being the overwhelming heavy favorite and all the money coming in on Seattle, like over 70% of the bets, the line hasn't moved. So, just keep an eye on that. I saw ESPN had 11 people predict the game, and all 11 picked the Seattle Seahawks. And just be wary when every single person on earth is saying this isn't going to be a game. Something to keep an eye on.
I listen to, and I always think this is interesting, I listen to the Joe Budden podcast quite a bit, and those guys did their picks, and they admit they've condensed it because people make fun of them for their sports, because they're not super into it.
Sure.
They don't always know. They get the names wrong and everything. They all predicted, and they predicted scores like 56-7 Seahawks. They're like, it's going to be a blowout. I think that's what the average, just I kind of pay attention person thinks, is Seahawks by a massive blowout, and I think people should be really careful with
There's
that.
been 2 documented 7-figure bets this year on the Super Bowl. There is none last year. There's been 2 this year. Both are on the Patriots money line.
Yeah, I do think Seattle should be favored. I do, but I also think the game is a whole lot closer than people think.
We'll talk about that game tomorrow. But now, the club next. 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Philadelphia Eagles are hiring Packers quarterback coach and former Oregon State Beaver quarterback Sean Mannion to be their next offensive coordinator. Mannion, just 33 years of age. He was an active player as recently as 2023 with the Vikings and Seahawks. He has taken over to be with Jalen Hurts and company in Philadelphia. Bills quarterback Josh Allen, he had surgery on his broken foot, and that is done. He was seen walking around on crutches and a boot today, but he said he will be ready for OTAs, and it will not hinder him throughout the season. Allen said the injury stemmed from an older incident that he aggravated back in Week 16 of this season. Trailblazers center Dwap Reed, he's going to have surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. He will be out for the rest of the season, while point guard Scoot Henderson, he has been cleared for contact drills and is nearing the end of his recovery for the hamstring tear that has sidelined him for the entire season. Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon, he's going to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks with a right hamstring strain. Lakers center Jackson Hayes, Spurs rookie wing Carter Bryant have accepted invitations to the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, while Mac McClung, who has won the last 3 seasons, will not be participating this season. And Kansas expects to have star freshman wing Darren Peterson available on Saturday when Kansas hosts A.J. DeBonsta and BYU. Peterson and DeBonsta is going to be a big match between the freshmen. They're both projected to be top 3 picks in the NBA draft next year. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Stephen Vaughn from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The Rick Riz getting hit with a foul ball will never not be funny to me. It just won't. There is something about there's something about people getting hit.
Wing a foul.
It's that old Simpsons. Did you ever watch The Simpsons where Mr. Burns is trying to buy an Academy Award? So he bribes everyone in Hollywood to vote for his movie. And he loses out to man getting hit in groin with football. It's just George C. Scott getting hit in the nuts with a football, and he rolls onto the ground, and that wins. And it is true. I mean, think about the entire Jackass movie series is just people getting hurt, and you will laugh every time. Those are one of those dumb things that if I'm flipping around at night and I see one of the Jackass movies, they're not good. There's no redeeming quality to it, but if I see one of the Jackass movies on, you'll get me for like 20
I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it.
Yes.
I didn't know about this drop until Rick Riz, was calling retirement. You will have to pull it up. It's my favorite drop now.
Right?
It's really good.
It is my favorite thing that I've ever heard.
I need it one more time.
Wing a foul.
It's just so good.
Swing it a wow.
Jake was telling me it's his favorite drop too. So
Yeah, and it's an old man getting hit with a baseball, which that shouldn't be funny because you're like, oh man, he's an old man, but it is. It absolutely is funny. And then you need to Google the image of him wearing a hard hat a little Mariners batting helmet afterwards in the booth. He has to wear the John Olerud hat. Just the idea of Rick Riz having that batting helmet on. Just thinking about, I want a T-shirt because it's his last year, right? He's retiring.
Of that scene.
I want them to sell Rick Riz shirts of just him wearing that batting helmet, and then underneath it just have the quote of. I don't know. Like, what if someone was watching that game on closed captioning and that happened? I just went,
Inaudible noises.
I do like sometimes you're watching closed captioning and you're like, what is that? Yeah, inaudible noises.
There he is in
Yes!
the batting helmet.
Tell me, like, he should get a statue. You know, if you've been up there, Dave Niehaus has a statue out in like center field where you can go take a photo with him. That should be Rick Riz's statue. Get him in that
batting helmet.
Get him in that batting helmet.
Have you seen? Are you on Instagram much? Do you do the Instagram deep dives at night sometimes?
Not as much, but I do. My account got shut down.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I have one because people send me stuff, and so I have one. It's like anonymous. I've never posted on it, but that so once in a while I'll get on there. But it's not. I don't have an algorithm or anything. I don't follow anybody.
My dumbest favorite thing is animals being scared by Halloween decorations that jump.
Oh yeah.
And just like a raccoon going up to try to get the candy, and
Freaking
then
out.
the witch jumps up, and the raccoon will like spin 5 times and run away. I think those are so funny. I don't know why. It's that same thing. It's the humor of something you shouldn't laugh at, like that poor defenseless creature getting so upset, but it's the same as somebody getting hit in the nuts or an old guy getting hit with a baseball. It's just, it shouldn't be funny. It's hysterical.
Someone said the Idiocracy, the movie, which, by the way, we are leaning full into. Someone said the number one TV show on Idiocracy was Ow My Balls. I can see that.
I get it. I totally get it.
Well, if you watch those Jackass, like some of those guys, I saw an interview with Johnny Knoxville. He's permanently effed up. He has to use a catheter now. Like he can't pee.
Yeah, they did horrible stuff to each other.
Yeah, and he can't take any more hits. Like his brain's mush. He can't do any more concussive stuff.
It's kind of like pro wrestlers, right? Where you do stuff where you take enough big hits to the body, jumping off things, getting hit with things, getting hit in the head. And if you do that for literal years, on top of them skateboarding, like Johnny Knoxville did skateboard a lot, and that you get banged up from that too. It makes sense that he would, like a professional athlete, break down.
Yeah, he's in some rough shape now, and
he's going to be like a walker kind of guy fairly soon, I think.
And it's weird because when you watch those shows, and I think about like if you slip and fall, how bad that hurts. Those guys and the punishment they took, you do kind of have to tip your hat to them because sometimes you do watch that stuff, and it is literally like you're like, oh my god, that has to hurt so very bad.
There was one that was, I just saw it today. It was on my algorithm because I do think they're funny. Bam Margera bet them that nobody could jump up and kick him in the face with both feet at the same time. And one of the dudes was like, I could definitely do that. And he jumped up, and he did. Both feet, he jumped way up in the air and double karate kicked Bam Margera in the face. And Bam was really messed up. Like, it really hurt him.
Well, if you were in that crew, like, how do you... If you and your friends were like that, like, how do you ever relax?
You don't.
I honestly don't think I could have ever been on set.
No.
I would just be... I would never leave my trailer.
No. Have you seen the one where they lock Bam in with a giant, like, anaconda snake?
Well,
he's terrified of snakes?
I think it's a cobra. Now, I think it's a cobra, but they defanged it.
Was it
Okay. No, it's a full-on, like, king cobra that it either was defanged or it was devenomed, but they didn't tell him that.
He almost started crying.
Yeah, he started crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's deathly afraid of snakes, and they locked him in that. You're like, what? Hi,
gotcha.
Hi, everybody. Ha ha. Like, the stuff they do is seriously effed up. That, like, seriously hurts their friends. And they all seem really happy and, like, hunky-dory about that stuff. I don't know what sort of weird special bond that has. Because I know when you have a group of friends, you can kind of tease each other and give each other a hard time. Most of that stuff is we're just going to get into a fight. Like, at that point, I'm just swinging on someone.
Yeah, you would not be a good cast member in Jackass, because if they did stuff to you, anxious reaction is fight.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Yes. There is definitely fight or flight response. And believe me, I don't want it to be that way. I wish I had the other response. And I've tried hard to kind of correct it, but my worst, it's one of my worst qualities is my initial reaction to anxiety is anger.
Me too.
And
It's mine too.
And it's violent. And it's violent. Like I just believe that I can punch away whatever situation's there. It just turns into and it's not good.
Yeah.
Like I can be pretty calm in most situations, but if you get my anxiety level to a certain point, it's just terrible. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. And so me on this, I would be the worst. I would be one of the worst people to be on the set of a prank show.
Oh, they would just absolutely send clowns after you constantly. They would give them a key card to your hotel, have them come in. It would be that kind of stuff. Here's the problem. You can have, I think some people have, when they have that group of friends. Like I was in a fraternity.
Yeah.
And I do not like snakes. But I wasn't going to say anything because I was in a fraternity and a dude owned a snake. It's like he's definitely going to, when I'm asleep, put the freaking snake on me to mess with me. So I'm not going to let it out.
Yeah.
But if you're on a show like that,
it's coming.
They do enough pranks that they're eventually going to hit that funny bone. They're going to hit that spot and realize, oh, we all are freaked out, but he's about to cry. So that's our thing with him now. And then the rest of your relationship is okay, his thing is heights, so we're going to constantly put him in situations with heights. He doesn't like clowns, constantly clowns. Bam, they figured out the snakes thing.
Yeah.
He couldn't get away. Remember, they would throw rubber snakes on him?
Yes.
And he'd just lose it. And they do it all the time. There's a compilation of throwing rubber snakes on Bam, and there's 25 of the clips. He freaks out every single time because they're mean enough to one time really do it.
And you would think, somehow those idiots found each other. It's kind of beautiful. And I know they made a bunch of money, but they weren't making money back in the day. If you ever want to know that the universe opens itself up and there's someone for everyone, realize that group of individuals found each other, who without that show would all be dead or God knows what. And yet they're all millionaires because of it. And how only one of them is dead is beyond that. Ryan Dunn, I think, got all drunk and wrapped his Porsche around a tree.
Yes.
But there's one I remember, Johnny Knoxville is on a rocket. And it's this big giant rocket, like an Acme sort of Wile E. Coyote thing. And it explodes and blows out the side because shockingly enough, they're not explosive experts. It blows out a big metal hole in the rocket right below his arm. And they're laughing about it. And someone's like, hey, Johnny, this was on a month ago. I happened to be watching this. Someone's like, Johnny, you realize you almost died? Had that been a foot, had that just happened to blow out the other direction, you realize that rips a hole in you. And he's like, ha ha ha.
He walks around hey,
and then they got back on the rocket and they did it again. You're like, in what world? Someone said, what is your Mount Rushmore of celebrities you can't believe is still alive? So you put Keith Richards, Ric Flair, Johnny Knoxville, and the entire Jackass crew. They are definitely on there. The fact that Bam Margera and Johnny Knoxville are still alive is the
all-time greatest upset.
Yeah, if you've ever had a loved one die young, you're there is no karma, cosmic justice in the world. If a loved one died at 35 from some sort of rare accident, meanwhile Bam Margera is still alive.
There is a new movie coming out too, by the way.
They're doing another one
in June of 26.
I don't think those guys
Jackass
could.
5.
I didn't think those guys could do it anymore.
Johnny Knoxville did announce it. Bam is slated to appear. I don't think he's going to do anything because he's kind of fat and drugged up. But
he looks like.
But yeah,
hell.
no, it's some of the old. They have new guys too.
Yeah, they're coming back. The worst injury is funny because it's something you'd think would be okay. The worst, or one of the worst injuries, is Aaron McGahee. You know, the guy that had the tooth pulled out?
Yeah.
So they tied.
I think he's a Portland guy. Isn't he?
There's a couple Portland guys.
They tied a fishing line to his tooth and tied it to a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But when you pull out a healthy tooth, it doesn't just rip the tooth; it breaks bones. The Lamborghini went so fast it shattered all the bones under his eye, and he had permanent facial injuries from pulling out a tooth. And it does make sense. You'd say, okay, don't pull out a healthy tooth. You wouldn't think that would cause multiple fractures up to his eye that led to permanent facial injuries. He was hurt for like it hurt him forever.
Yes. Again, how all of those people aren't dead is beyond me, and now they're making another one.
And I'll watch a new one. Yeah, I'll watch Jackass 5.
Look, I'm not going to go see that in the theater, but again, if I'm sitting at the house,
late night Netflix.
if I'm sitting at the house and I've had a couple of Tullies and a Jackass movie comes on, you'll get me.
It does say that Knoxville will be in it, and like some of the original guys, Chris Pontius, Steve-O are returning alongside younger performers. You know, they gotta develop the minor
Yeah, I
league
was going to
system
say,
there.
they got there's a new generation.
They need fresh brains.
Bam will be in it, but it's archived footage from the movie they did before that they took him out of.
I was going to say, he's in such rough shape. I don't.
So like in 2022, they had another movie, Jackass Forever, which Bam was in it, and then they kicked him out of the movie.
Oh, so this is old. Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be older stuff, but he will be in it. Can't wait, actually. I'm excited.
By the way, the number one person on my celebrity Mount Rushmore that I can't believe is, have you seen Gary Busey lately?
I haven't.
See if during the break, if you could, and see if you can give me a, like, find a YouTube clip of it, and you won't get an appreciation because you can't see him. Just everyone, this break, do yourself a favor. If you're driving, be safe, pull over, or, you know, just look on YouTube, look up Gary Busey. I don't know why, but he released like a Christmas message. Tell me how Gary Busey is still alive, because it's the damnedest thing in the world. Yes, dude, I'm convinced he's dead.
He looks like a zombie.
I'm
He
convinced.
looks like a skeleton.
Yes, there is like a weird Weekend at Bernie's thing happening with Gary Busey.
He looks terrifying.
Yeah, and he's always been terrifying. But see if you can find that. See if we can get some audio of that. And also, if you were to come up with a museum of your greatest failures, you think about it, there is a museum of the greatest failures, and they came to you too and said, boys, we need you to contribute. You have to put something in the museum. And by the way, this is a real thing. What would you put in the museum for your greatest failure?
Wow.
When we come back. The Club here on The Fan.
Zook have you from here.
Swing and a foul.
All right, we were talking about people that we can't believe are not dead, and someone brought up the Mount Rushmore of celebrities who you can't believe are dead, and he threw out Keith Richards. Ric Flair is another one. If you've seen Ric Flair lately, my God, that dude looks like, how is Hulk Hogan dead and Ric Flair is still alive?
There was a drunk cameo of Ric Flair talking about someone getting married, and it was alarming.
Dude, every time I see Ric Flair, he is bright red, like the color of a lobster. He's got that weird slick back hair now, and he slurs his words. He has no idea what the hell is going on. He would be on that list, but I don't know why. It was like over Christmas. I saw Gary Busey is delivering Christmas messages. I was like on TMZ or something, and I saw Gary Busey, and I have not seen Gary Busey in years. And it was like, what? Now, to be fair, I think Gary Busey has a brain injury, but he's had a brain injury for like 30 years. Like, he got in a motorcycle wreck, I think in like the 80s or 90s, so he's acted with the brain injury, but there's a bruise on the peach. And I think he's done a tremendous amount of cocaine. And you put AIDS, the bruised peach, cocaine, and it's now in this weird confluence of events that somehow he's not dead. He looks like a zombie.
Oh, he looks terrible.
And this is Gary Busey now, and like no one knows what he's ever talking about. What is he saying here?
This is him being a goose, making a goose noise.
Sure.
Hey, it's Gary Busey, and I have got a great Christmas present for you. Listen to this. Ah! Ah! That's what a goose sounds like when they're flying. They let you know they're up there. Ah! Ah! You get a bunch of geese together. Ah, ah, ah.
Yeah.
They're honking in the air.
Dude, he's 80. He's 81 years old.
So bad.
Do yourself a favor, just Google image Gary Busey and realize that for no reason on Christmas, Gary Busey, he just decided to do what a goose sound. By the way,
to be fair, he probably does sound like a goose, like a pack of geese.
I feel like we need that as a drop. By the way,
It is.
It almost gives me the willies. If you look at it, the video of him, one eye, like it looks like his orbital bone was broken, so one eye is higher than the other.
Yeah.
And they're different
he's
colors. Like he would need almost zero makeup, and you could put him in a zombie movie and make him a zombie.
Yeah.
And it would just hit. He looks really bad.
Yeah, if you put him in a horror movie, like, was it the People Under the Stairs, maybe The Hills Have Eyes, something where you just, imagine you're like a young teen couple, and you're in the woods, deep in the scraggly woods of Appalachia, and for some reason you decide to have sex in an abandoned barn. Tell me that there would be a more frightening sight for that movie. You're like, hey, baby, don't worry about it. Like, we're all alone. This barn's been unused for 30 years. We're complete. And of course, then she has to take her top off because I'm in charge of this horror movie, and that's what's happening. And out of nowhere, Gary Busey shows up. And you are so right. Doesn't need an ounce of makeup, no wardrobe. All I would have to do is call Gary Busey. I'd probably have to send him like a carrier pigeon because I don't know if he has a phone. If you just got Gary Busey and you said, hey, and he's like, what am I supposed to? Just show up. What's my motivation? You don't have any lines. Gary, just show up.
Improv.
Do
whatever you want.
All I want you to do, what am I supposed to dress like? Whatever clothes you're wearing is okay.
And go talk to Sydney Sweeney. She's going to be topless.
Yes.
But you're going to go talk to her.
Yes.
And Sydney, we just want you to react how you would really react if Gary Busey approached you.
And it would be
perfect.
It would be the scariest scene in movies for like 30 years.
Real Goose or Gary Busey?
People say like he looks really bad now, and you look him up and you're like, well, yeah, he's old. Like Morgan Freeman, people are like, man, he's declined very quickly. It's like, well, yeah, he's very old. You said Gary Busey looked bad. I looked it up. He looks alarmingly bad. I was prepared for him to look bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because Dick Van Dyke's 100 years old. I saw him at an award show the other day. That dude was tap dancing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I think he's 100 years old, but my God, he's still out there. The Gary Busey. It's like horrifying to me. And someone said, yeah, what if you got Lou Holtz, Lee Corso, and Gary Busey? I'm not going to lie. If you had a panel show, I need to be a producer in Hollywood.
Oh, no.
If you gave me a political talk show,
Oh, no.
social issues, it would be social issues and stuff with Lou,
Lee Corso and Gary Busey.
and Gary. And I just and I
Terry
don't know-
Bradshaw's not far away from
That's
being
pretty
on
good.
that show.
I don't know who moderates the thing.
Probably Bradshaw. He's the most functional.
We get Terry Bradshaw to moderate.
Man,
it.
Sam Darnold's really good in that first half.
No. I don't want sports, man. I want social issues. Again, this is my panel. Lee Corso, Lou Holtz, Gary Busey. I need someone to moderate it, and all I want that person to do, you know what? I want Bill Hader to moderate it. I want Bill Hader to moderate it, and all I want Bill Hader to do is go, ICE protests, go! And then just a free-for-all. Listening to those three debate the important social issue, racial justice, go. Tell me that's not the #1 show on cable news.
It would be shockingly good.
It would dominate. Someone. This is the best idea I've had since Bum Voyage. Just throw those three out there, no script, and they have no idea the topics that we're going to talk about. And I guarantee you every one of them has an amazing opinion, and you won't be able to understand a damn word they say. But it would bring in ratings.
I would watch it. If you told me it was even a one-time special, like they're going to discuss the presidential election, the next one, and discuss and have them discuss whoever it is, Vance and whoever, and let him go, I would watch it. I'm not proud that I would watch it, but I would watch. That is a verbal car wreck.
All right. When we come back, I'm going to need you guys to dig deep. The Museum of Personal Failures is real. What are you, Stephen Bond? What are you, Andrew Nemec, putting in to the Personal Failure Museum? Because this is a real thing, and we can go visit it. And we shall. Next. Here, though, Stephen with a sports update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Philadelphia Eagles. They are going to be hiring Packers quarterback coach and former Oregon State quarterback Sean Mannion as their next offensive coordinator. Mannion is just 33 years old and was actually an active player as recently as 2023 with the Vikings and Seahawks, but he will now be in charge of the Eagles offense with Jalen Hurts and company. Bills quarterback Josh Allen, he had surgery done on a broken bone in his foot. He was seen today with a boot on and crutches. He said the injury stemmed from an older incident that aggravated it back in week 16, but he did say he will be ready for OTAs and will not hinder him for next season. Trailblazers center Dwap Reed will have surgery to repair a stress fracture in his right foot. He will be done for the season, while Scoot Henderson, the point guard, has been cleared for contact drills. He is nearing the end of his recovery for the hamstring tear that has sidelined him for the entire season. Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon, he'll be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks with the right hamstring strain. Lakers center Jackson Hayes and Spurs wing rookie Carter Bryant have accepted invitations to the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, while Mac McClung, who has won 3 straight, will not participate this season. In Kansas, they expect to have stud freshman Darren Peterson available Saturday when they host BYU and AJ DeBonsta. Peterson and DeBonsta are projected to be 2 of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Stephen Vaughn from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Your home for Seahawks
this can go in your personal failure. Nemec has to stick around and do another hour after this recruiting.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'm tired. I'm like, good thing you got another hour and a half. And your wife said, why don't you ask Suk to stick around and do the show?
Yeah.
You didn't ask me.
No, of course not. Hey, Suk, how would you like to stick around and work an extra hour for no extra money talking about high school boys?
You should have asked.
You never know if you don't ask.
You
Shoot
never
your
know.
shot. Shoot your shot.
Well, now it's too late
she was
because
like-
you didn't bother to ask me.
She was like, what percentage chance? And I said -5% chance.
I tell you what, I'd derail that recruiting show. I'll do it with you, but we ain't going to talk recruiting.
We also potentially have guests on the
that'd
show.
be even better. I
so
totally want to do that.
it would
If
go
we have
sideways
guests and I get to be
immediately.
involved in those interviews, count me in.
Nope.
Yeah. That kid's going to be like, what? Yeah, get ready for these hot, burning questions. I'm going to get right to this. Yes, coming up next, recruiting with Andrew Nemec and me.
Nope.
Who are we interviewing? Who's this kid?
Josiah Molden.
Oh, yeah, I got some questions.
Alex Molden's
Yeah, I got some.
son.
I got some
No,
questions.
you
for
don't.
him. Yes,
You
I do.
absolutely don't.
We're gonna dig deep.
Shoot him to me. I'll see if I can sneak him.
We're gonna ask the questions that the other shows are afraid to ask.
No.
You shouldn't have me talking to kids. That's just there's certain things where I know where my limitations are, and that's certainly one of them. No 17-year-old wants to have a conversation with me, nor do I want to have a conversation with them, and it's the way it is. So this guy up in British Columbia, up in Vancouver, he has put together his, he's called it a museum of personal failure, and I think this is fantastic. And he's exactly what you would think someone that would come up with a museum of personal failure. This is right out of Central Casting, like Portlandia. Guy's got a mullet. He's wearing a sleeveless hooded sweatshirt. Good times. So, and it's at the Kingsgate Mall. And it was dreamed up by a guy, and I guess he was going through a tough breakup, and he realized, like, he's not the only one. So he started putting out some feelers for people, and he said you can bring whatever you want to the personal museum, or the personal failure museum. So you can bring, like, any artifact you want, and then there's a little accompanying paragraph. And so someone brought, like, their wedding dress, and they put it up there, and they found out that on their wedding day, their husband slept with one of the bridesmaids on the wedding day.
Oof.
And so they hung their wedding dress up. Think that. And there's some pretty good ones in there. That one I thought was like, that's a piece de la resistance. When you go to the personal museum or the personal failure museum and you see the wedding dress, you know what's up.
That's the main attraction.
That's got to be the main attraction. So there's some work ones. There's obviously a lot of relationship ones. There's some Dear John letters, things of that. Someone brought in a tie rod off a car. They tried to build their own race car. And it said it went about 100 feet before it fell apart. I thought that one was pretty good. So they took a bent tie rod from it. He said that he spent like 6 months building this car, and it literally died like 100 feet into doing it. Like that's kind of one of those like, oh my God. So I ask you guys both to dig deep. If you had to bring in a personal item for the personal failure museum, what are you bringing to the table?
So I'm hoping, can I historically go back and get my hands on something? Like,
Yeah.
if it's a breakup note,
Sure.
I don't have it
Yeah.
still, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 6th grade, I asked out, towards the end of the school year, I asked out a girl that I thought was like, she was like the most popular girl in her grade.
Bold move. I like it. 6th grade Nemec.
Swinging for the fences.
Yeah, what do you
And
gotta
she
lose?
said, yeah, like,
All right.
we'll go out. All right.
Yeah.
She broke up with me the next day. However,
Dude, those 6th grade romances, man.
It's
Those,
pretty long, actually. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Good job.
we had an anniversary, an 8-hour anniversary. I asked her out like in the morning. In the afternoon, they shot a video for what was your favorite memory from 6th grade.
I know where this is going.
They would then play on the last day of school, like in a week.
You're like little Jenny's. My
So
favorite.
I said going out with people as my thing. So Andrew Nemec, 6th grader, going out with people.
By the way, at the time, that's kind of a baller move. It's a pimp move. Be like, yeah, we date around a little bit.
I thought I was being
honeys.
smooth in the moment. So, but then she breaks up with me the next day, and I realize this video is gonna not be great for me. So the video plays, and it's me sitting there, 6th grade little Andy Nemec, saying going out with people, which then leads to an entire group of people laughing uncontrollably at me.
That stuck with you for a while, didn't it?
It bothered me in junior
Yeah.
high. Like, people teased me about it
Yeah.
because I was so embarrassed by it that then it was like, hey, remember when your favorite thing was going out with people?
Yeah, that's
And it
not-
lasted
yeah.
a day, and I'm like, yeah, that really sucked. So, yeah, it stuck with me for a few years and was actually, in hindsight, kind of funny. It is what it is. But
At the
that was
time.
my biggest failure.
Yeah.
That my first relationship.
That little video you could have. You could have a little,
The video.
little black and white TV, little Zenith, VCR combo. You throw that bad boy in there. I like going out with people. It's pretty solid. I was trying to think of, I got a couple. I will think of one, like, I was pre-med at BYU for like a year and a half. I was trying to do that and football. And up until that point, I'd kind of ham and egged my way through it. It wasn't the best. I was like struggling, but I always go to the professors and I'd be like, look, I'm a football player and this is really hard, but like I'm trying. Most of the time the teachers were like, hey, sit in the front row, get some tutor help. If you put out a good effort, we'll see what we can do. Right? You get extra credit, and I had managed to kind of get through with some C's. And then I took organic chemistry. And everyone said organic chemistry was going to be like the tough one. It's kind of a make it or break it, kind of class. So I sat in organic chemistry, and like 2 or 3 classes go by, and brother, I have no idea what's going on. I'm in there with smart kids, and I was like, holy cow. And so I went up to the professor. With my test. And I don't remember what my test was, but it wasn't good, right? It didn't pass. And I walked up and I was like, this is who I am, blah, blah, blah. I did my spiel, right? I'm trying hard, but it's difficult. I can't make every class on time. I'm trying to balance football, and the teacher looks right at me. And I'm waiting to get every teacher up until that point had kind of put their arms around me. And that teacher looked at my test and looked at me and she, hand to God, she goes, if this is the work you're doing this early and you're this lost, I don't think this is for you.
Oh.
And she slides my task back across and just walks away. And I was like, oh. And I dropped the class and I pivoted majors. That was the end of my attempt at being pre-med. The sliding of that test. There was no sympathy. There was no nothing. She was just matter of fact, this isn't for you. Slide it across, away you go. I would put that. I would frame that test, which was probably like a 54, followed with there should have been a note on it that said, this isn't for you. And I think she said, like, you might want to consider another field. That was pretty rough. At the time, you want to say something that stuck with you? That stuck with me for a long time.
For sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
People like, because people I knew would like, hey, weren't you trying to do medicine? Yeah.
What happened with that? Totally changed my mind. Turns out, don't like medicine so much. Anti-medicine, some might say.
My daughter took organic chemistry. She's pre-med at Portland State. She took organic chemistry, and she, I think, told her teacher that and was laughing. I was like, hopefully you never get the dreaded. No, she got an A in the class. So... But she never got the dreaded, this isn't for you.
You didn't pass your trauma on to her. She was able to,
I did not pass it
succeed.
I do have a similar story to that. In high school, I had a really hard math class that I wasn't good at. My first test, I got a 32%. I'll never forget it. I just tossed the test in the air and walked out of class. I showed up the next time to class, and I go, hey, I think I'm going to drop the class. And she goes, yeah, you probably should. That's not my failure, though. That's just another failure.
Just one of those.
Yeah. I remember tossed it in the air and just walked out, and people were just like looking at me like, what is this kid doing?
I think everyone has probably had a girl one and an academic one.
Yes. Mine's actually a work one.
You have a work one?
Yeah, because when I was at Concordia, RIP, not a school anymore.
Yeah.
2009, I had to do an internship. And I really didn't care. I was in school to play basketball. Like, if I didn't play basketball, I probably would not have gone to college. I don't know what I've been a loser. I would have been a bum and a loser. I already know it. But I was playing basketball, so I had to take classes. I was in business class, and I couldn't think of any internship I wanted to do. So I actually interned for a radio station, a sports radio station.
Yeah.
And I just used the promotions. Didn't think anything of it. Well, had I thought about it, I would have addressed this and gone for it, and maybe I'd be a little farther in my career. As we've talked about, I am the oldest rookie to be a producer here at Primetime at the age of 38, and maybe had I addressed that and kept working at radio when I was 21 or 22 years old, I'd be a little farther instead of a 38-year-old rookie producer behind the glass.
You're 38?
I am.
Damn!
I know. I didn't, and then I got back in radio about 10 years later, and then I started addressing it.
I'm trying to think there's plenty of gal ones. I do remember this was probably like maybe 10 years ago. I got set up with a gal from a friend of mine who was really she was really attractive. She was like a fitness kind of competitor sort of thing. And a friend of mine set her up. And so we got numbers and exchanged and all that. And she saw me on TV. I was doing like the Ducks post-game stuff.
Okay.
Over on when they used to have Comcast Sportsnet.
So was that like Talking Ducks or something? Or like an offshoot of that?
It was on
kind of
Saturday night. We would do the Pac-12 like recaps.
Okay.
So it was kind of late at night, and she texted me, and like on that show, you're in a suit, right? You're kind of dressed up. You think you're looking nice. She started texting me. She goes, "Oh my God, I'm at this bar, and like that's you on TV." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm in." I was like, "Yeah, that's me on TV." And she's like, "What time do you get off?" And I was like, "I don't know, half hour or whatever." She's like, "Well, come by." And I'm like, "Yes." So up at this point, I'd only seen her like on Instagram. So I hadn't met her in person. And so I show up. No, dude, she was all that. And yeah, so I walk in and she's there with some friends and I'm like, so I'm thinking she thinks I'm cool. I'm on TV, whatever. So we're at this kind of bar and she's like, "Do you want to go? There's a club like next door. Do you want to go to the club?" I did not want to go to the club, but I would have followed. I'm like, wherever you want to go, I'm going to go. So we go to the club. I pay for her and like 2 or 3 of her friends to get in or whatever. So we're like, we walk in. I was just all about this. So she goes to the bar, and I was like, "What do you guys want?" And she's like, so they all order drinks. I order drinks for her and like 2 or 3 of her friends, and I'm sitting there at the bar, like 10. And so they go to the bathroom. Like 10 minutes go by, nothing. Like 15 minutes go, nothing. Now it's been like 20, and I'm like, oh boy. So I'm sitting there with like 4 drinks. The bartender's looking at me. I'm in a suit, by the way, and it's kind of like a dance club. I'm a little overdressed for it. So I start drinking my drink, finish that one, and move on to the second one. So I sent a text. I was like, "Hey, everything all right?" No answer. Like a half hour goes by, and I was like, all right. And then I got one finally. "Oh, sorry, my friends pulled me into Uber. I already left." And I was just sitting there, like paid for everyone to go to the club, bought everyone drinks, and was just sitting there. And the bartender's just looking at me as I have 4 like empty cocktails in front of me. And the bartender's like, he gives me like one of these, like yeah.
In general, when you are dating or talking to women, if your mentality actually is, "I will go wherever you guys are going," you're behind the 8 ball. You just are. There's no scenario. You need to either be the dictator of where you're going, or it needs to be so mutual. But if you're just like, "I'll go wherever you want me to go," understand that you've got to immediately somehow flip the power dynamic because you're already in a little bit of trouble.
You could frame those 4 glasses and then like a photo of that bartender giving me like the fist bump. I think he gave me one for free after that. He's like, "You know what?" At that point, I drank all 4 of them. And he's like, "Hey man, he just got me one." He like felt for me, like gave me the fist bump, and I was like, "Well, that happened."
So she saw you.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even want the admission because they left. What were they doing? What was actually the move there?
Shockingly enough, never.
Well, no, I know. But I'm just trying to piece together. Like, she had seen you and must have been like, "Oh, because even if you went, oh, he's on TV, he has money, we'll get into this bar free and ditch him."
No.
They didn't drink the drink.
No.
And they left immediately. It doesn't actually kind of make sense why they left. I don't get the move.
I just was like...
But that sucks.
I just sat there. It wasn't even like I just laughed. At that point, you're just like, well, I mean, I know her. It was the first time I ever met her.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it was probably the only time I truly felt like for a brief moment, you're like, God, like you want to talk about a loot. Like you walk in, because at the time you walk into a club with like 3 girls that are all really attractive, like fitness girls. So you walk in with all 3. I go up to the bar with all 3. You order drinks for everybody, and you're kind of like, yeah, like look at me.
I'm a baller.
Look at this. I'm in my suit, yeah. And then before you know it, the bartender's looking at you, and you're like, yeah.
Steven, you don't have one of those?
All right, well,
No, I don't. I dated Coach Vaughn when I was in college, so I really don't have many college dating stories.
It's one of those like, whoops. Oh, we put a bow on it when we come back. The club here on The Fan.
Seahawks here.
Well, that'll just about do it for us. Went a little long there on the Personal Failure Museum, but everyone can relate to those stories. I don't care who you are. Everyone has those moments, whether it's academically, financially, work-related, romance. Every one of us has one of those. I kind of like that guy put together. Because I go up to Vancouver a bunch. That's one of my favorite cities. If I'm up in Vancouver and they still have that, I'll pay the $5. I would go 100% to see the Personal Failure Museum.
I'm with you.
Because especially after a certain point, you end up with like a good sense of humor about it. Like, and if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. Then you got trauma.
Right.
Like at some point you should be able to laugh at yourself. If you can't laugh at yourself and be the butt of the joke, then I don't know. We're not going to be friends.
Right.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than that person that's super sensitive and can't laugh at themselves.
Also, I learned early, and part of me being able to come on, you like to test that with people
100%.
to see if they're going to buckle or it's going to bother them.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot. I mean, everybody has things that like don't say about me, but there's not a lot you can say. I'm pretty confident in myself and I can laugh at myself. You kind of said, you don't seem like you're going to like cry. It's like, no, man.
First thing I told Steven,
I'm okay.
I said, if you're not okay being the butt of the joke, and trust me, we all play the butt of the joke, it's not going to work out. You have to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yep.
Well, that'll do it for us. Thank you, boys. And stick around because you have another hour to do with Recruiting with Andrew Nemec. You should have asked me to stick around. I would have stuck around and had hot boy interviews.
And that's why you don't get to stick around, because you called them hot boy interviews.
Recruiting with Andrew Nemec coming up next. Tomorrow, 3 to 7, same crew's back. Joey Harrington joins us at 5:30 for his 2 segments. And maybe we're talking a little Super Bowl. You've been listening to Primetime on 105.1 The Fan.
Friendships of stay.